Go Tim.
And Action Tim.
Action Tim.
What?
All right, confused.
That's your new superhero name is Action Tim.
Oh, like Action Jackson, but white.
Whoa.
Sure.
Okay.
Remo Williams is what we call that.
Remo Williams.
Remo Williams.
So you guys have seen the second stage in your quest log get filled with the assassination attempt.
Yeah.
On the papers, you see scrawled in different handwritings a list of names that are kill on sight and a list of names of extract information from. Do you care to disseminate any of that information to the rest of your party?
Yeah, we did pass that around.
Yeah.
We've been disseminated properly.
Still don't understand why. I mean, I met the lady a few times, but I don't know much more. And they seem to know where more than I do because they know where she's at.
So it wasn't a good friend of yours? The one you got this club from that you make
I spent a few evenings with her having some drinks in an inn, and I was commiserating about my cloak, and she made me this cloak or gifted me this cloak. I don't know where it came from. And then I said I'd bring you a loot because she's a bard of some renown. So
why might you be on this list?
that's my question. Like,
you got any debts? Anybody who's done you wrong or you done wrong to them that might be coming back for some back takings?
Not to my knowledge. I've done on the way from the east. I sold most of what positions I had so I could pay my way. When I wasn't traveling into the dark, I was above ground paying standing inns and paying for caravans and working my way.
I'm gonna cast minor illusion and just make clapping sounds as loud as I can. And then, I'm just gonna be sitting there while it's
So you
going.
can't make it making you sound?
No, it can do one thing or the other, right?
So you're just going to make the sound?
Yeah, the clapping sound.
Okay.
So I don't care if it's visually.
So out of the ear, we're hearing clapping.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go. It's pretty simple. It's the magic. And then it's clapping and my hands are like this. And it's like, look at the list.
Okay.
Most of them have some sort of name that would remind me of them being able to harness the power of magic or magical thoughts or something magical.
Oi, show me that list again.
We're having all this talk while we've settled in for a rest, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
A long
So
rest.
you guys are going to be bedding down.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are laying there. The sun has gone down by the end of the combat, and in your immediate actions and your searching. So, what is the order of watch?
I won't be taking a watch.
Yeah, because you're fucked up.
Yeah.
Only because you got
I'll do the
extra
I'll do the
solid there.
first.
Yeah, and she just she lifts an intestine up for you to see.
Don't
Perception?
show me your innards. That's
18.
not necessary.
Okay.
I'll go somewhere in there.
I went first.
1, 2,
and I rolled
3,
18.
4.
Yeah.
Do we need 4 watches? How long's the watch?
4 hours apiece.
4 hours.
2
Okay.
hours.
Wait, no, that's 16. 2 hours.
Two?
2 hours apiece.
2, 4, 6, 8. To get a full night's rest.
Would we appreciate?
I'll go next.
Okay.
What are we doing? Perception?
Yep.
12.
All right, let me change maps back.
Wait, why do we need to change maps? We were on the right map. Can't believe your mouse pad lights up.
Pretty cool.
Of course, the
The actual touchpad.
yeah.
It's alien.
Can you center the party,
Oh
please?
shit, where are we?
Unless we can get them as a sponsor. Then I might say some good things.
Yes. Otherwise, I'll pass.
And place where you guys are at.
Me.
That's generally speaking where that campfire was,
around
right?
the campfire here, basically.
You guys would all be prone for resting.
Except
And
for
are you
the
resting
knowledge.
in your armor class?
No, I have to doff my armor so it won't fully heal.
Correct.
Yep.
Is anybody else keeping their armor on?
He puts his armor on for the watch and then takes it back off to sleep.
So that's what I'm doing for as well.
So you are out of armor. You don't wear any. You're out of armor, and you are renewed.
It's not fair to say that I'm out of armor because I feel like Doug Myron is the honor of my soul, and I've always got him nearby.
Okay. The heavy scent of metals pervade your senses as the blood soaks into the ground. It is somewhat, shall we say, almost reactivated in the middle of the night as the dew starts to form and starts reliquefying the blood and releasing the aromas of it.
Ew.
What do you need? There's no scenery over there. Jesus. He just brought those over to me.
Your watches pass with no.
I put my goddamn armor on as quick as I can.
Next, roll.
22.
Okay. And in the morning.
I put my goddamn armor on as quick as I can.
Well, you've got last watch.
This is
And
where
then-
all goes south. 9.
Okay. So the morning comes and you guys awaken. It is about 5:30, 5:45 whenever you're woken, as you have been for these last several months of Genji doing almost a chant.
Like the intro.
Go back to sleep.
That's what his voice sounds like. I'm never going camping with Dave. You guys making breakfast? Jesus.
It is Lide, the
Lide?
Now it's Lide.
3rd of Elent.
Hey, lie days.
We can click long rest in the D&D Beyond app
You may.
and reset our maximum HP.
Yes.
Long rest.
You've had a long rest. You've seen isolated caravans head north, 2 of them, throughout the night, and one was during your watch, Bronson. You saw 2, not quite chariots, not quite like full-on passenger wagons, but what looked kind of like what we would equate to a flatbed trailer.
Okay.
Just
so,
kind of a very easy platter with an axle and wheels underneath it being pulled. 2 of those going with torches,
Okay.
one on each.
single horse for each.
Single horse on each.
So it's like a large horse-sized wheelbarrow.
yeah,
type
and
train, okay.
not big enough to where a guy rides in it.
Right,
He
just
just
for
walks
like a-
next to it.
Yeah, like
and-
a couple bales of hay or a treasure
Yeah.
chest or something. Okay.
Don my armor, say my prayers to Doug Myron, and make a few notes on my
So
book.
what is your morning ritual typically like whenever you say your prayers?
It's pretty straightforward.
For sure thought he was gonna bust into Lazy Sunday or like a boss.
And I will
So tell me what an average day is like for you. It's like, and then he
Sergeant Corbett like a boss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's pretty straightforward. She wakes up and says a few words to Doug Myron.
Like a board,
Thank you for the blessings I got with you guys today. Thanks for the point of knowledge. Here are some of the things that I learned yesterday.
Right.
And shares knowledge about Doug Myron.
So what things specifically? This is kind of what I want to get into.
Yeah. So like it's things that she's learned from the day before. So she learned about the one-on-one combat element of samurai, or what appears to be that. She learned about petrification, and then she also learned that when she's laying before dying, her friends will typically walk past her.
And Doug Marin Brightmantle whispers into your ears that the sarcasm is not appreciated but understood. And you feel his light shine down on you. You now have a D8 inspiration that you can use within the next 24 hours.
Thank you, Doug Myron.
And as you're quit singing and are talking to your ancestors. You're trying to you've been struggling to find clarity on what the smoke visions meant, and you keep seeing dragons, but instead of ruby dragon that you had seen or a jade dragon that you'd seen previously, they are a mixture of chromatic and a mixture of metallic dragons that are just being killed. You can't see what's killing them, but you just see their flesh open and blood pouring out of their scales.
Whoa.
It's crazy. Both metallic and chromatic dragons?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
None of the jewel dragons, though.
Right.
Hmm.
I wonder if that... When I've had visions that I've reasonably concluded have been about my family or my family's enemies, they've all been jeweled dragons, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Interesting.
And you really haven't seen... You've heard since you've been here in the Sword Coast, you've heard of the chromatic dragons specifically around the Rise of Tiamat.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that cult has been put down, and chromatic are very distasteful, but they're still prejudiced against any dragons, and a lot of fear mongering up and down the coast.
Okay.
So it's morning. You guys have rested. You're very sore, but everything has been closed up. Your wounds, miraculously, in some cases, due to a god's touch, seem to have closed up. But it hurts to stand up this morning. During the middle of the night, after your watch, Jotun, this would have been during Bronson's. You are struck awake, but you choose not to sit up. You still gain the benefits of the long rest. However, something is afoot within the weave. A surge has gone out across the landscape, and as you look about, roll a perception check.
10.
You see overly lush areas compared to the environment that look like the areas that were overly lush at the edges are starting to die off and recede in.
Okay. Did I have a similar feeling during like the Sunderings or anything, like the Rise of Tiamat?
Somewhat, whenever the spell plague hit, yours was. It's hard for you to really recall that because you were testing with the Zolkir in front of you, and during your final casting was whenever the weave was stricken and you found yourself in the void. I don't want to go into too much for everybody here, but voids must be filled.
Or expelled.
Holes must be plugged.
Something was voided.
Holes must be plugged.
So you sit back and there is a feeling of unease. There is something wrong with the weave.
Okay. You're about the well.
Nah, divine spellcaster, you wouldn't.
Yeah. I understand spells blessed you by your god, but spells were that you've read in books and studies, and I don't understand how you make it happen. It seemed great, but Dunmar gave me what I need.
Bit of a mystery to me as well, actually. But I don't know if you sense this as well, but there's something in the mist that I can't quite grasp. But something is wrong.
Do you think it's going to affect your ability to cast spells?
We shall see.
Roll an Arcana check.
Hopefully it doesn't affect mine. I think that's a 15. Yep, 15.
So you have you still feel the weave as you have throughout your life. As you've studied more, you feel more attuned to it. It's still there.
Okay. Something has changed.
Something has changed through the effects of magic is the best you can ascertain.
Okay.
How long have you been casting spells? Is it something you were born with, or?
I was actually blessed at a young age. Thankfully, my Goliaths are somewhat magically attuned, but I was sent off to the Red Wizards to study and further focus that ability. However, my studies were interrupted, so I'm not sure how much of my ability I've been able to fulfill so far. Even whilst becoming the Goliath champion. By the way,
Was it discussed out loud at any point that these were red wizards attacking us?
Yes.
He mentioned.
The closest thing you've heard, and you wouldn't know
Yeah.
about the rankings, you just know different titles and what you assume to be proper nouns thrown back and forth by him and the individual whose head was removed.
So
Boy, big lad.
These they jumped us. Clearly, my name's on the list, but they were interested in you too. Why is that?
was this a Nishkir? Or is that... Would I not know that?
You would know, yes, lower on the totem pole than where they are at. You have wizards that are, like, once you're in, you're considered nobility. You have kind of cadets, and then elements of those that aren't fully accepted but are still tools.
So
This individual was more of the latter.
This was some sort of acolyte. I'll relay this to the group, like, he was after me because I'm a former Red Wizard, and they like to tie up their loose ends.
So because you're not with them anymore, they come after you.
I'm not sure why they're after me necessarily.
You roll a history check, please.
Before I do that, I would like to say, that must have been why that one couldn't tie his shoes. I'm gonna reroll. Not kidding. History?
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
You said you could.
You don't recognize any of the
He
names
doesn't
that
have
you
a
use.
Oh.
I do, but I'm not gonna use it on that.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah, don't.
Anything else you guys want to do?
So you don't know whether they're coming after you. Can we expect them to come again?
If they send one, they will send more.
You helped save my life, so until this threat's off your back, you can count on me Warhammer and me shield to cover you. Maybe next time I won't get stabbed in the back trying to bring you back to standing, huh?
Well, the only reason I'm here is you, so I owe you my life as well.
That feels good. I want to check and make sure the loot wasn't damaged during
Sleep.
Yeah.
just during the scuffle and combat and stuff.
Yeah. Do an investigation check.
I try and identify the signet ring that I found.
So
13, okay.
13. Yeah, the loot's in proper order. You guys had, as you were approaching, kind of dropped packs and done that. So
Just gonna apply some oil to it, get it all supple.
Okay. For the signet ring, you recognize it as of the Red Wizards of Thay, the House of Necromancy.
Oh.
Okay. So I recognize the name on it. Charlene.
That's just it's just you have a signet ring. The name you don't need to worry about.
That means necromancy school. In Red Wizard.
In the ancient tongue of Sula Citadel, Charlene means necromancy.
So, run it back for me, lads. I climbed a tree. He's putting poop on his face. We heard a voice boom in our ears that was talking shit about Big Lad here. And asked after Glaz. Is that correct? The same voice?
Yes. So whenever you guys, just to run it back real quick,
Yeah.
you had seen the plume of smoke. It seemed like it was a home or something bigger on fire.
Right.
As you surfaced over the hill,
There's no
the
source of
illusion
it.
for the smoke disappeared.
Yep.
You then saw two individuals standing over a woman
Yep.
of Asian descent.
Yep.
And they looked to be about to put her down
Yep.
whenever you guys came up over the hill.
Yep.
That's whenever the green armored samurai stood up, took notice of him. He comes into view, and then as you guys are sprinting, in your heads you hear the Red Wizard call out that it's interesting that Jotun Aegis is here, I didn't know that you survived killing the Zokir. Is kind of what you want to ascertain from that. Is that Zokir, whatever the fuck that is, they think that he killed it and that it killed him in the process. He's alive now. That's interesting. And then all we want is the dwarf woman.
Yep.
And if you give her up, you can leave with your lives.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Got it. And then we kill the shit out of all of them.
the thing that I don't understand is, clearly they're after the people on this list and a person of interest, but the fallen man comes from your land, or appears to. What does he have to do with any of this? There has to be some connection between it all.
Between the
Oh,
red
Kyoto
wizard that didn't
Roosevelt.
like Yoton, and then the bird fucker
Glad
who,
to
as
that
far as I can
clues.
tell, is in charge of the illusion.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
I'm very confused, but the fact of the matter is we need to head south and we need to warn Sarah if they're coming.
who
I
comes?
say we try and get in touch with anybody whose name isn't crossed off on this list. Let them know some bad fuckers are after him.
Baldur's Gate is listed, what other locations are listed on there?
Chult.
Chult? Well, that's far away.
Chult that
Baldur's
way,
Gate. That's it.
We have to go south.
man.
Who did you say was on the list?
Is the other? Is the other who have to deliver this route to?
Ruto the Puny is not in Luskin, and Irion of Gentle Mind is somewhere in Chult. And then there's your friend Zira, who's in Baldur's. It seems like that's probably the only one that we're going to be able to get in contact with. I say we double up on our speed and try and make it to Baldur's as quick as we can and find your friend Zira.
I've spent a lot of time in Baldur's Gate, mostly from an isometric point of view.
Many years ago.
Many years ago.
Should we try and get on one of these wagons heading south?
None of them have been heading south. Both of them were heading north.
I noticed none of them were heading south. Maybe we could pay one to turn around.
Luskin's far to the north. I don't quite know where Schult is, but it's a ways away.
We got to get back on that road.
And head south.
Keep on heading to Baldur's as quick as we can. And anybody who's riding by on horse or carriage, we got to ask if we can hitch a ride best we can.
So we want to, out of character, we want to move double speed.
Okay.
Because we haven't even made it to Daggerford yet, right?
No, we've traveled one day.
Yeah,
We
we're
had
like 2 days in
or
there.
what? 18
Yeah, can
miles
we
per
hurry this
hour.
up?
Jesus.
Wow.
I would like
Hey,
combat to be more
Hades,
challenging.
Hades Gigas approaches before you. You are now late to the opera.
While when that happens, as the gate appears behind Valkyr, I nod at Jotun to go get on his hands and knees behind him, and I walk up and I push Valkyr over,
And then we laugh.
and then we laugh. As he falls into the Hades gate.
I'm gonna shit right in his time wasting mouth. No,
But like with like diarrhea poop because it's faster.
we did have some berries that we foraged yesterday. It's not doing me so well.
So moving south, Mr. DM.
Okay.
Double time.
Travel music.
Please. Alright, give me a disadvantaged survival check. Actually, keep it regular.
Okay.
Gladys probably.
Whoever's leading.
I've been sort of heading the trails.
That's fine.
Oh, not bad.
Just
10.
one of those.
You said disadvantage. I thought.
He
changed.
took it
Oh,
back.
I'm sorry. I was. No, I have to roll. I have to
No,
roll again.
No,
I have to roll again.
15.
9.
Okay.
I'll take the 10.
So as you guys are going, you step up pace, and are you traveling directly on the road or using it as a banister?
On the road.
Yeah, on the road's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you guys, you're fine heading south. What I do need is 2 perception checks, one for the AM, one for the PM. Those need to be at disadvantage since you are moving at double speed.
I'll do that.
Yeah, and I'm too busy on the road taking note of flowers. And
I'll do one.
Ho ho ho!
Nice.
That's gotta mean something.
Is it a
Both.
massive mashed potatoes?
11s.
No, our 17s, which is 21.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Ooh, if you get 2 11s, you should get like a wish or something.
What'd you roll?
I don't know.
Wait, here. Let me answer the question.
Hooray!
Hooray. That was the PM section.
I've always found the PM to be the less successful end of a group.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was drinking a little bit while I was
However, for the AM section,
Raise the roof.
Get hype.
How far did we make it, DM?
45 minutes.
Can we have a cool little like Indiana Jones red arrow?
On the plane. Oh, read the music, yeah.
Alright, so you guys overnighted up here.
Yeah.
You get to Daggerford that night.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. It's a day's travel.
Okay.
You guys go in double speed.
Sweet.
You get into Daggerford as the sun's setting. There is what looks like a caravan that is heading from Daggerford down to Baldur's. It is 5 gold per person to be able to take the caravan down. Caravan will get you there in 2 days' time.
Wow. Is there nothing for us to do in Daggerford? Want to look around and ask after her? Kira?
Yeah.
Zira?
Yeah. So when I was here, we had our drinks in an inn called the Happy the Happy Cow. That's quite a nice little inn. We can head there, see if they've heard of it or
Cool.
seen anything about it.
Let's head to the inn real quick. We're
Okay.
gonna try and get as much information as we can before we join that caravan.
Yeah.
Is there a fountain in town where I can replenish my water skins?
There is.
I will replenish my water skins.
And do you mention that you're going to do that to the group?
Do we see a fountain on the way to the Happy Cow?
No.
Okay. Then I'll tell the group that I'm gonna go replenish my water skins.
Would you be so kind as to refill 2 of mine as well, lad?
And 3 of mine.
And 2 of wine, lad, while you're at it.
So
I'll take everybody's spit bards.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Give me your damn water skin. Give me your damn water skin. You terrible singer.
Alright, so Genji goes off as you guys enter into the town. You look around, and there is a very long queue to get into the best thing that you could approximate is like a medical clinic. The folks that you see standing there are of varying ages, but they look like they are wasting away to nothing. There's a pile of bodies.
Bronson goes. Covers his mouth up with his shirt.
There's a pile of bodies that are laying on the outside, and it looks as if they had died and dried up a long time ago.
Whoa.
I'm gonna make my way into the crowd and start seeing if there's anyone that's hurt or that I can help. I'll pull out my herbalism kit and I don't know, assess who's hurt the most and try to do some triaging and see if I can help someone.
Okay, make a perception check first, and then a medicine check.
12 for perception.
Okay.
And then 18 for medicine.
So you're able to very quickly see that it's interesting the rate of degrading, regardless of age, seems to be consistent, but there's no consistency in the people that have come down with it.
So just kind of they're like degrading, like they look like a flu sick. They look sick.
Look like they're wasting away.
Like they are like starved and sunburned.
They're emaciated and like
Emaciated, losing weight, losing size.
Like dehydrated.
Yeah.
okay.
And so you're able to go through and, kind of milk of the poppy, that kind of stuff, help, alleviating pain, but you have no idea how to cure any of this.
Okay. I'm just gonna, as they're kind of hovering around, covering their mouths or whatever, say, I don't know what's wrong with these people. That's little I can do.
I want to whisper to Jotun and say, "Is there magic at hand?"
I will guess detect magic.
Okay. So you cast it. As you do,
Ritualistically?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
It's non-ritual. Okay.
Yeah.
So it only
10 minutes later,
yeah, and it doesn't use a slot.
And it
That's
doesn't
all,
burn
that's
spell.
fine.
yeah. As you are looking about, you see various adventurers, and they illuminate with some of the trinkets, the amulets, the rings, and the like that they would be wearing. You do see folks that are standing in line. There's just a very light glow to them, and like if you were to look at a like stare at that light for a second, keep staring. Now look over at me. You see how that kind of burns on your retina?
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing the same thing on these items, except for the people. It seems like that's being drawn from them.
Okay. Very interesting.
What the shit?
We relayed that to the rest of the group. Like, there's something wrong here.
I don't need to find a more powerful healer. I don't know what this town being as small as it is. I don't know if they'll have the right temple inhabitants here. We'll have to. I mean, Baldur's Gate or Waterdeep or one of the larger towns clearly will have the clerics that can help. And then I'll just kind of walk up to the front of the door. Excuse me, who's tending to this here?
And you see an individual, a very skinny,
Yet sexy.
no.
No?
You see a very skinny but tall rock gnome.
Oh,
and
like tall for a rock gnome, so what, 4 foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he comes up, he's wearing a top hat that is black with like a gold band around it and a skull mask over his face. And he says, good afternoon, my name is Doc Blonay. How may I be of service to you?
Oh wow.
Yes.
It is very
Yes.
insomnia.
It's nice.
Very
Nice to meet you, Dr. Linné. My name's Glassmaid and I'm chest.
And that it is, my sweet dear, as he wraps his cane flat on the ground.
Wow. Southern gentleman.
Thank you. So, what's going on here? What's wrong with these people? I tried to assess what I could do to help them. I'm cleric, and I can't tell what's going on.
I wish that I could tell you that I had a better feel. Whenever I first came to Daggerford, I was known for my healing abilities on the road while I was adventuring, but I put that life sense behind me, and I found that applying my skills here has been that much more fulfilling. You see, I advanced the sciences by performing surgeries on those around here, and let us just say that there have been those that shouldn't have made it through, that have had folks praying over them, that have lived, and yet overnight they seemed afflicted, and are not doing well. But I cannot explain why so many have taken sick so quickly.
When did this start?
Overnight, my friend.
Last night.
Aye.
All these people here have showed up today with this thing happening to them.
They came about this morning. You see, I was attempting to graft a goat leg onto that individual, that farmer over there, unsuccessfully.
That's quite interesting, and in fact, you're going to have to tell me about that later. That's something that is intriguing.
It is intriguing indeed. You are not only curious to the eyes, but your mind seems to be afire with a thirst of knowledge burning through you.
That is, and that in fact.
Wait, lad.
Perhaps I could slake that thirst, and we could have a conversation inside.
Did I understand correctly that this gentleman introduced himself as a fucking Dr. Baloney?
My friend, it is Blonay.
Right. That's what I said. Baloney. Yeah. That sounds like a right talented doctor you are. I tell you what, lads. By all means, you keep it. And he's holding. He's been holding his shirt over his face this whole time. You all definitely look into this. Sounds like this is definitely a point of interest. Seems right fishy to me that you felt some disturbance in the force overnight, and then all these fucking corpse people started showing up. Sounds right terrible. We're going to my hometown. Is that what the doctor does? Oh god. And Bronson goes, seems to me if we're heading back to my hometown, I'm going to get my mustache waxed and get my nipples shaved up, and I'm going to get all proper like, because the breaker of boulders can't be showing up looking as ragged as I do tonight. Nonetheless, I'm also going to hit up some of my contacts as we're getting closer to where I know how things work around here. And Bronson's going to continue on to the inn and say, meet you lads over there. Come get a bite, and let's get a night's rest or get on that caravan. Either way, I'm not sticking around this pile of corpses. And then he's going to go to the inn.
Okay.
Have you reached out to help and my friend, please excuse him. He's a man of action, not a man of research.
He throws up double middle fingers.
He does seem to have the right inclination to distance himself from the numerous dead that have been littering this pile and continue to grow. Please, young one, come here and sit here forth on my lap.
She loves it.
Can you tell me, little lass, how has your family been afflicted? Are you kidding me not? You're precious, did you know that?
This gnome child has an interesting color. Is she afflicted as well?
She is the least afflicted of all that could be afflicted or not. You will find her pure of mind and ready of spirit.
Yeah, she finds you to be quite humorous. I think Dr. Baloney's funny too.
That's Blonay.
Bloney. My apologies. So is anyone coming to help you with these bodies or with these people? Are you doing this all on your own?
Well, you see, being in the scruples that I am and the type of medical practice that I choose to execute, indeed. Yes, that's so nice of you to say. It is one that folks are off to toss their problems into this wishing well as opposed to invest in its healing purposes, if you catch my meaning.
I don't understand the word.
And he points over and you see various treasures lined up in the corner, and it seems like people are just desperate to get stuff fixed and have just thrown money at him
Can I,
to try.
I'm not going to say can I insight check him, but can I get a sense for it?
Yeah, roll it.
Okay.
Would I have caught back up to these guys by now?
15.
15. Yeah, it seems like he is genuinely thinks he's within his depth. That he is amazed that people are just giving him so much money to treat something he doesn't know how to fix. He seems to be more like experimental medicine as opposed to actual healing.
Yeah.
You don't seem to think that he has any type of godly or learned magic powers, just that he knows kind of science.
So I'll walk up. So, who is this? As I point at the doctor.
Dr. Bologna, my friend, might I ask you whence you have come?
I have come from
You
Karato.
you are very colorfully appointed, my good friend.
You will say your name was Dr. Borone.
Yes, you must be the most cultured of your fine companions, as you are the only one to be able to pronounce my surname in the affirmative. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. Here are your water skins.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
Is everybody talking funny?
Dr.
Yeah, we're
Blonay.
making
My
a
name
show
is
right
Dr.
now.
Blonay.
So
And I am here to cure what ails you.
I haven't been here before. Do I know like where the town hall is? Or are there any temples in town? Anything?
Now, Daggerford's not very well appointed. It's a decent way station between Baldur's Gate and Waterdeep.
So the did you talk at all about the detect magic and who was blowing with the adventurers with the trinkets and stuff?
I told the group and no one else.
Okay. And so I just want to kind of back in the well, I'll be right back with you, doctor or man. Pull the group aside. What are we gonna do? These people are suffering. I don't know what to do to help them.
Does this seem similar to any sort of plague or anything that my clan or kingdom is endured?
Do a medicine check or history, whatever you're more proficient in.
Medicine. I'm not proficient in either one.
I'm afraid we might not be able to do anything for these people, unfortunately.
14.
So with a 14, you've like seen cholera outbreaks, especially in heavy rain seasons where floodwaters come up and the like. And so you've seen mass people getting sick, but the uniform progression of the illness, typically you see like spot 1 and it pervades out from there. It's almost as if like within a second a wave has come across, and it seems pretty uniform across a lot of people.
And I go over my shoulder. Dr. B, the people that have come to see you, has anyone recovered, or are they all ending up,
Well, I've had many people I've miraculously cured, but they have not had.
This morning, these people that showed up today,
well,
sick today, that have showed up, are they all expired, and are you able to help them?
I've had some of the few more common folk expire over the evening, and their remains have been brought forth for me to care for. Most likely, I shall put them to the fire so that we can rid ourselves of this pestilence. Little one, that is a beautiful piece of artwork. Perhaps I could hang this up within my hospital here. I do thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Have yourself such a wonderful evening and night.
So I don't know, what should we do? We need to get south to Baldur's Gate, but it hurts me. If you are, would you give me one too?
You never do that to me. It's like real.
I'll take
whatever the cheapest whiskey he has. Yeah, same. Yeah.
I
This
don't
disease
own
seems.
cheap whiskey.
I'll get what I think is the cheapest.
So the Willet is probably.
What do you like the least, so we can have that?
Yeah, that's better.
Get either the Willet Rye, so back on the right, second. Well, that's only gonna get you one glass. Just stay away from the Noah's Mill if you're trying to go cheap. That's my best. That's just my favorite.
I'm not in the mood to sip it. I'm gonna slam it, so I don't want to slam something that I shouldn't,
Enjoy.
Yeah.
All of this, as you look across my tinctures and potions along my healing vessel in there, are all worth sitting in, imbibing upon.
Fair.
Do not slam or shot those.
Fair.
If you do so, please, sir.
I'm gonna follow him to the end.
So what I'm asking you, what we're gonna do? And you
These
just gonna walk away?
disease.
I'm going to the end.
These disease appear to be deliberate.
Yeah.
So maybe linked to this weave disruption that we had encountered. So we might need some bigger guns.
Why is he allowed to live?
We might need some larger allies to relieve this affliction.
With a
Let's be quick
higher
about
level of knowledge.
I can't abide leaving it.
Seriously, dude.
Oh wow.
I can't breathe.
I smell the plague.
I can't breathe.
I can't abide leaving
I
this
gotta step
people.
out for a minute.
It's just, it'll be quick. The fan's going.
Well, that's chewy.
Wait for Dan to
Yeah,
walk.
it has like a liquidy texture.
Wait for Dan to walk back in. He just comes in.
No, it's all the way out here already. This is bad.
Tell him you're just taking a break.
Don't go in there.
God damn, Dan.
Just,
So-
What happens at the
you
end?
can walk in here if you want to. Oh my god. It's like a gas station bathroom in here.
Or what happened?
Dr. Shin.
To start breathing.
So yeah, the almost empty Willet is empty. But
Hey, thank you.
yeah, thanks, Lee.
Thanks for getting it.
Alright, so you
yeah.
guys make it over towards the end. The inn is closed up. You're starting to see most of the public buildings, just in fear of a possible plague. Everything's being closed up. Shops are all closed up.
Fuck.
Homes are starting to get closed up, and you guys are seeing folks take action to leave.
There's nothing we can do here. We need to get south and get some.
What
help
happened
for
with
these people.
Bronson? Did he get to the inn?
It's closed up.
It's closed up.
Yeah, everything's closed.
What are
We
you
were
doing?
No,
we
they
were
don't
staying.
let him in.
No, like it is hammered shut.
We stayed over this after you left. After you left, we had like
Somebody
a
closed
brief
the baby gate
conversation.
all the way back in. Zoe, come on.
So then I think we should just keep heading south.
Agree.
There's nothing we can do here. What do you think? You're the wise one who's traveled the land and met more people than any of us could ever think to dream to
Oh,
meet.
then I think we should stop by the inn.
The inn that's right in front of us with the doors boarded up. That inn.
I'm gonna look in the windows.
Roll a perception check.
They're boarded up too. You see wood.
They're solid wood.
19.
10 penny nails and wood bar this window in front of you.
Is this the end that we're from?
I think we're going south. That seems our destiny doesn't have us staying long here. Not too many characters around these parts.
Doc Blonay takes that.
Doc Blonay. I
Extremely personal.
I am greatly vexed by your insults.
Well,
Put out a hit.
The vexation
To the caravan
is mighty.
station.
That don't. Yeah, I mean, is there a place where there seems to be
Yeah.
like a trading
Yeah,
post?
you guys saw
Yeah.
those. You guys were coming
Oh,
in.
okay. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go get a wagon.
It's 5 gold apiece.
Well, to ride the caravan.
That's right, the caravan.
Do you do it?
Yeah.
So I need 25 gold.
Yeah,
I'll drop 5.
We'll drop 5 apiece.
You get 25 gold. Is that how that goes?
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so you guys load up, and it is leading immediately.
Going.
Instead of it being a few copper per mile, this is a
Yeah.
we're
Express
getting the
route.
fuck out of Dodge.
Oh.
I look mournfully on at the sick people in town as we ride away.
And as you walk, as you guys are riding out, and you kind of feel the lurch, and then the clock, 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 clock,
Do you-
clock,
do you got
clock,
this?
clock,
Do you got
clock,
that?
clock, 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 of the horses as they start to take off. You look over, and you just see people standing in line with
I got you if
treasure,
you want me to.
Treasure?
waiting to get to see Doc Blonay.
Jeez. Maybe there's something else we should be doing here.
And you guys wake up after a long night. You've slept in the wagon as you've been going. The sun comes up. Idle conversation within the car that you're in.
So we're on it's the day after now. Now it's
Yeah.
Charday.
Sade.
Charday the 4th.
Sade! This whole RuPaul? Are we doing some RuPaul here?
No. Lonely Island.
Genji.
Is it SHAR?
Yeah,
It's a
for
char, yeah.
Shar.
So it's
Uh,
this-
they're all named
They're all
after
named
darkness and loss.
Yeah, they're all named after the gods
Jade
of the
Syndicate.
pantheon, the
Shar,
gods.
lies.
Do they have any connection
So,
with the Red Wizards?
And there's a conversation
Hey,
in
you
the
know
car.
what to do.
Sorry.
So I was asking Genji if the Jade Syndicate has any connection with the Red Wizards, or if he would know anything about that.
I don't think
you
I would
not.
know, yeah.
You've never heard of the Red Wizards of Thay.
Okay.
I just know that these guys are a perennial, centuries-long foe of my clan. So.
And they are very dishonorable.
Dishonorable. Like a ninja.
Or a hobgoblin.
Oh, hobgoblin.
So great.
So you guys, throughout the night, you guys are each taking turns kind of sleeping. Some of you guys zonk out at the same time. The panic travel, you guys make it to within sight of Baldur's Gate the following morning.
Alright.
So this is Chande.
Chande. Chande. Chande.
After
Chande.
Shantae, the goddess of agriculture.
Yeah.
And you guys, are still kind of riding along, and it's Bronson who first looking, parting the fabric that covers the window on the, kind of royal purple colored wagon. Kind of sees what's going out, and then you see him get a little bit more interested, opens up the window to the cabin and is like looking out forward, and you guys see the walls of Baldur's Gate very quickly approaching. You see a long line on either side of the road that extends past you, that seems to go all the way up to the gate of refugees. Coming from the north, trying to get into Baldur's Gate, and you see the middle is clear, And there's every so often, maybe every 20, 45, 50 feet, there's a flaming fist enforcer that is kind of keeping people out of the way so that the wagons can maintain their rate of travel going in between. But you would say for a solid half mile on either side of the road, there's a pretty heavy concentration line of folks extending out of the north gate of Baldur's Gate.
I'm gonna grab everyone to like kind of come in close and just say, we can use the ruse of working for my agent Walter McClellan and say we're the band to get in the gate to one of the prominent inns that have arranged a show, and I can deceive them to get through the gate.
Does Bronson, having like spent tons of time here and being like associated with shady characters, have any knowledge of a secret entrance or a person who owns property that has an entrance?
You know that if you look like you deserve to be there, that going through the north gate is going to be the best way, because that takes you directly into the merchant's quarter.
Got it.
Which is the most affluent area and highest elevation of Baldur's relative to the rest of the town. You have to, look the part to be able to be admitted.
Perfect. So I'll get together.
So like your family would have been from the northeast of here,
right,
and the foothills that you guys had passed through.
Right, and so that's where trade would go to and fro, and so that'd be a side that I know. So I'll relate as much and be like, "Oi, lads, if we can get our ramshackle production here together to look a little bit spiffied up, we might be able to get a little spitshine going. We can convince the gods at the North Gate that we're associated with some trade guilds and some of the partners that move spices and furs and carpets and the old Orient type luxuries that come and go through the North Gate. Otherwise, we're going to be seen as part of the beggars and those fleeing from the south, from the north, and they're not going to take kindly to us. We need to go through the trading.
So just so you know, you've got like the way Baldur's Gate is set up, since everybody, I don't know that you have Jotun, but everybody else here at some point has come through Baldur's Gate.
Sure.
You've got the river that kind of comes east-west, and then there's an inlet on the river, and it's like they originally built a town on that inlet to have it kind of as a harbor, and the lower city is what's born out of that. That's where all the slums and the poor areas are at. The really bad tenements are on the very far west side of the bank. It was still within the so Baldur's Gate looks like this. You've got a road or a river that comes through here. So this far west side is the biggest slum, and then there's like this half moon lower city, and then you've got above that kind of wraps on top of it a much higher elevation, nicer area. So on the west side over here, you've got the slums, and then the east side over here is the main primary gate to come in and out, and that goes like to where the garden corridor is and all the main trade that comes in and out.
Or at the north gate, you
So
see?
you guys are coming up on the north gate.
What sort of improvements do we need to make to look the part?
And I'll be
I
like,
stand up, put my hands on my hip. You mean like this? And my clothes billows out dramatically behind me.
And Bronson goes, I think she'll be alright. However, Valka, what do you got to make a giant 8-foot tall fellow such as Jotun here look like he's a tradesman as opposed to a big can of whoop ass that he is?
Ha yes, poop! He put on your face!
We're gonna need you to do a little bit better than you did back there.
I've got a set of costume clothes. I changed my voice again, don't worry. I've got a set of costume clothes. We can make him up quite the deceptive costume.
So, whatever check you think we should be doing.
And I'll use my disguise kit.
Yeah, which of us
Perhaps I could be your bouncer.
need to actually
Of sorts.
make look better?
Bodyguard.
Probably Jotun most of all.
Well,
Because a bard looks pretty well appointed, right?
so roll a insight check
Okay.
on the city of Baldur's Gate, and you can roll at advantage. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
downtown.
Gotta make it land on Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, you're inciting the whole town.
Where is it?
I thought you were from there. This is not how you
Sorry.
pass.
Oh my god. I can hardly even see that. So that's an 8.
So you know that there's like a lot of assholes that live up where your dad used to do business.
Yeah.
And you know, whenever he'd come into town, you know that there's kind of a half asphyxiate, not what's the fucking word I'm looking for? There's like a fetish almost of exotic personages that rich people would want to have. You don't know necessarily that a Goliath half frost giant falls into that category of exotic, but you've seen like tabaxi cat people that are considered, you know, fun little adornments and stuff like that for the affluent. You were not dressed in the nobility garb at all. You were caked in blood. You were filthy. Your beard's not, your goatee's not very well trimmed. You look very disheveled.
Okay.
You think Genji would actually, just with how respectful he is, would most likely be the most well received because of his armor, how honorable he is. He's starting to have that air of upper echelon about him. These other two, you think that Valker, if he didn't have shit dried on his face,
Literally.
You think that, you know, you've considered him, like, as you've gone to pubs with him, as you guys were doing your investigation, you felt a little bit intimidated if you're going to try to pull some tail, that he would get it before you. So, you know, normally he's a decent looking, you know, individual. Glaz has a very
robust,
interesting form where she doesn't really look like a female dwarf. It is just a shorter, you know, somewhat squattier but very shapely version of a human woman.
Sure.
With that we're doing, I need to get to the temple. I need to get to an inn and try to find Zira.
Alright, well, we need to get to the North Gate. We need to have Genji speak on our behalf. We need to make sure that
you're so screwed!
Then I'll
And very nobly, he says,
I'll
"You guys are
speak
screwed."
for him. He can be the.
You and I need to take a goddamned bath.
We will, and he can be the high-end merchant, and we'll be his
And we
traveling
need-
group.
we need-
Merchant!
Yotun's not going to go unnoticed, so...
I am Nobu of Clan Yoshimitsu!
I understand,
No,
Yoshimitsu.
merchant!
We can't just be honest and say we saw the sickness in Daggerford and we're going to the temples and seeing if we can get some
We'll
help.
never get
if
in
we
the door.
if we tell the guards at the gate that we're just another 5 bums coming to escape the sickness from Daggerford, they're going to shut us out.
But then we're not the bums. We're trying to help the people from Daggerford.
Oi, but they're not going to care if that's why we're fleeing and we just want safety in Baldur's. We need to have business as they want our coin. So we needs to get to the North Gate and we needs to let them know that we do business here all the time and we need to be allowed in to conduct the business that we always do as we bring livelihood in to the gates.
This is your home. You know it.
And so yeah,
Follow you.
so we're going to make our way to the North Gate and then Valker and Bronson need to get cleaned up, right?
Alright, so you're gonna clean yourselves in the...
On the way, like how we'll get near the gate and then take a break to go take 45 minutes or whatever to get cleaned up before
So
we
meta, that's not very feasible because on either side of you, it's just a wall of people trying to get in through...
So
that
while
North
we're in
Gate.
line, like to get in, we'll be using water skins.
Yeah,
to
just burn the
clean
water
ourselves.
skins and-
Yeah.
So you're going to exit the vehicle and try to get in with the crowd to walk in?
So yeah, so recommendation is we go get in line with this caravan. And actually, we should talk to the people on this fucking caravan. What are they doing? So I'm gonna go ask the guy who's driving this cart, right? Because
Okay,
isn't that what
so
we
you
did?
poke your head out and he looks down at you and says, I'm driving this as fast as I can. As you can tell, there's people everywhere, and I'll end up getting dock pay if I run over anybody.
That's good, lad. What gate are you entering through?
We're going through the Black Dragon Gate at the north.
All right, we can just stay in the car with this lad. Then.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
All right, we're just gonna shut up and let you go. You go ahead, and then we'll just go get back inside. I think we just let him take us in.
I'm gonna poke my head through.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Can you get us through the gate?
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
No problems with the gate guards. It seems the line is very long and no one's getting in.
Well, I mean, they're all covered in shite, but I guess you are too.
Right. You also don't look like... Do you know the gate guard? Frankie?
I don't know this Frankie that you speak of, but I will tell you that
Bleeding
normally
to death with his
whenever
own
I drive these to and from, and
You can hear it crawling out. You can hear. No, it's Jimmy Beans.
Before this conversation's over, he'll.
anyway,
Yeah.
so whenever I take people along this hitch, normally I go to the south, but whenever I do come up from Daggerfoot and return back, I just go through the Black Dragon Gate and usually do a stop off near the temples. People like to take a picture of big buildings. There's big buildings, there are temples up there, and so I figured to just drop you guys off there. They'll probably search, make sure that there's no catastrophically ill. You should probably clean the shit. You literally have shit on your face.
We'll get cleaned up on our way there.
Yeah, in the back of the thing, I'll spin the water skin and clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be like this. My hair will just go whoosh.
I do have control of water as a cantrip, so I
Oh.
can just redirect the flow to the top.
Okay.
It's like a
Okay.
shower.
So you're swirling him?
Yeah.
Wait, you can do a
Spins around his head.
You can do a magical waterboarding.
Oh man. Or you should make his hair come out like Cindy Lou Who.
There's a lot of like wet ponytail smashed around inside his little.
So like your
So
ponytail
dumb.
is this onyx ponytail dripping down.
Dripping.
You are moist from head to tippy toe.
Jesus Christ.
Looking a lot better.
Yeah, like you, the garment that you have is purposely sewn in order to billow a little bit more,
Yes.
but with it being wet, it clings very tightly to your very supple figure. You've taken care of your body, and it
Do you have a
shows.
pencil drawing of this?
Can we get a quick sketch? What does the back of the wagon look like? Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you look wet, but I don't know that anybody would really blame you.
All right, so we're just gonna let the caravan take us in through the gate.
Yeah.
I guess.
Wait in line. All right, yeah.
So you feel it start to slow down.
Last waste of fucking time. Shit. Sorry.
You stop at the main portcullis, which you've got a portcullis that raises and lowers. That is the full breadth of this entrance through the Black Dragon Gate, and as you guys look out, it looks almost like a black dragon's maw opening up that you're riding into. And the bottom jaw would be the drawbridge over a small little moat that goes around. You guys come out, and half of the portcullis that's been dropped is on a hinge, and so that's been opened up, and that's where they're kind of monitoring people coming to and fro. They're pretty much just booting anybody who's coming up on foot. And they're like, you guys need to go to the Basilisk Gate at the east. I know it's a long walk. You just need to bugger off and get over there if you want to gain entrance. This is for those that are going to be gaining entrance to the Temples District. And, you need to go down there for regular trade. And you see people, very frightful, talking different stories about entire villages just dying. Like random people in it just dying off. You hear nothing about whole populations dying. It's just a lot of randomized withering away, but the symptoms all sound the same. And the guards are, God, you fucking people stink. Please get away. And they're trying to get some order, and people push back from trying to rush in. As they come in, you see a head poke in. He's got a fist with what looks like a sun that the fist is coming out of on the top of his helmet. He is a representative of the Flaming Fist. You see the same icon on the chest of his armor. He pokes his head in and says, what man you guys have come through here with your mounted caravan? How many are you?
Well, he says that into the cart.
Yeah, he's poking his head in.
Just tell him.
How many wagons in your caravan?
How many did we count when we mounted up?
Nobody said that they were looking.
I'm not sure. But
In the 2 days, how many did we notice?
Give me knowledge history.
But what?
That's a natty one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
You guys
So
have
he
just
goes,
been hanging out sleeping.
50 wagon.
I'm gonna say one.
Okay.
We're just passengers on this wagon. We're not.
That's right.
We paid,
We're
for,
just passengers on this wagon.
we paid for passage into the town.
We paid for passage
do
into the town.
a charisma check at advantage, one of you. And like repeating what one says is not technically helping. Just going forward. And he's like, all right. Just the one of yous. Okay. Let's see. We've got very dapper human there. A very interesting looking dwarven female.
And Bronson looks at him like he should know him, and he twists his mustaches and like winks at him and flexes his biceps and tries to look impressive.
Right. And you see like the nose guard on his thing's a little bit crooked, and he's looking like he thinks he recognizes you. Right. You like where you from here?
Oh shit. So Bronson will tell him, not from Baldur's originally. I grew up nearby though. Had my fair share of dealings, all lawful of course, with various types coming to and fro. As a lot of my friends went to Baldur's High, and we used to play ball, as they say. And so I've got some friends. You might have seen me coming and going, but I haven't been around in a few months. I was on a construction job over in Oakhurst, and was helping out some friends of mine out there, and I'm just coming back to visit some friends, and then I'll go back over to the family home out in the hills.
That's an awful lot of detail there. Okay. You sir,
He's
you're a right large
sweating
guy.
I'm like crammed in the back of the, just like hunched over in the carriage.
Well, what's your story? Did you eat something that caused you to swell up?
Quite a few very large things, in fact.
Are you coming on to me? What? You some uphill gardener coming on to me?
And Bronson
Can you
gets
get another
outside.
hit? Am I right?
Just seeing which way you swing, my good friend.
I swing in the direction I'm walking. Very well. That's enough of you. All right, Jimmy. It's just one wagon. Well, I don't give a fuck what they say. Oh, you guys are free to go. Go ahead, remove them from that wagon. They're trying to tailgate here. Let's go ahead and turn them out. Move the wagon over to evidence, and you are escorted into Baldur's Gate. And as you guys look out the back window, you see the occupants of 4 different vehicles being pulled out and turned away. So you guys get into the Temple District.
I'm glad I didn't say anything the whole time. Actually. Yeah.
You guys get into the Temple District and kind of like the north by northwest sector of Baldur's Gate.
There's a brewery there, I think.
Yes. There's a few very large stone temples that are set up there. He pulls up to kind of an opening You see the same queue of people that you saw in Daggerford, not the same people, but the same volumes of people just carrying treasure, trying to find some way to get help. And, as you're pulling up, you see people exiting from one temple and taking withered relatives to the next temple over.
Jesus.
What are your actions?
Yeah, I want to ask the driver.
Can I get more crowd noise, please?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're in a city.
It's City Square's cranked up.
It is? I looked
Fuck,
up.
oh, this is dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Is that a guy singing "For I'm a Bard" in the background?
Yeah.
I'm a bard.
You'll hear a lot of knockoffs.
You
The
will.
intellectual property law in Baldur's Gate is not
Pretty weak.
exactly well established.
It's like China.
I'm gonna ask
I
the caravan driver.
Have you heard the tale of the bard?
Oh god.
There, his voice comes screaming back.
What did you guys say exactly? Three of my buddies were not able to bring their caravans in. What the hell did you guys do?
Nothing special.
That's very
what-
persuasive.
I believe they found out that I am indeed Valkyr.
Okay. Let me get your bags then, Valkyr. And you hear him stepping across the top. You can hear him pull like a rope, and then you hear a whole bunch of bags hit the ground. It appears your baggage is prepared to be collected in the rear. Please exit.
I'll step out. The temple, the temple of Tamora is here in town, yeah.
Tambor, who?
Tamora.
Tamora.
Yeah.
Probably a big building with not a lot of regular people windows, but with rich people colored windows. Look at all the buildings of that, you'll probably find a fucking temple. Good day, lass.
Thank you for your time.
I'll tip him 2 gold.
Wow.
And he takes it.
Gold. That's like a.
Are you not rich?
Uh,
For I am.
No, I'm a
Falcon, you say?
I'm a person of meager means.
We certainly do thank you for your patronage. And know that in times like this, the gifts of those who are affluent surely must come back to visit kindness upon them, as opposed to the staunch and
Can I
those
see the
that
sheets real quick?
are cheap, those that are not free-flowing with their blessings.
And just walking away at this point. Yeah. I'm gonna head to the.
Do you
temple.
happen to
Definitely
know
goes
where
against our culture.
Zira, Lady of Lightning, may have hung out? Or
His
where the
eyes get big.
where to
and he
ask
says, "Oh, I
about
don't
her."
frequent no fucking Dragos."
Drago? Speak up, man.
Well, unless you've been living under a rock, only Dragos have those nice lofty titles coming after their names. I wouldn't even claim to be one of them, wouldn't be asking about them. You're likely to get lynched.
Oh, I understand. Where could I find him so I could
And
collect
he
a
pinches
reward?
you and looks down at your arm, and well, it doesn't seem like you have any scales under there. Quit asking about Dragos. I appreciate the tip.
And
There's
so-
one back.
So I'll face away from this guy and go, "Did you never mention that your friend's a dragonborn?"
Well, you might remember earlier I said the drunk man mentioned something about Zera. He was on and on about it, and I'm not one to spread rumors, especially about someone that's been kind to me. He said she was some sort of dragon in disguise. And, I know that I've never met the dragon. I wouldn't know one way or the other. You could tell me you were a fucking dragon, and I don't know what to take that.
Butter my bollocks, it's a goddamn dragon in disguise.
Well, let's not be jumping to conclusions here. This mugabout doesn't even know where the fucking temple is.
Hey, who you calling a mug about?
I'm calling you a mugabout. Do you or do you
Whoa,
not?
calm down,
You
man.
think you can walk around with your fresh pillowy tits out for everybody to look at, and you
Ooh.
think you can just say whatever you want? As we know, we are clear on our contract. I have delivered you henceforth, which means I ain't got to take shite from you. So please take your ample bosoms and bounce over to a circle that cares about your opinions. Master, I certainly do thank you for your kindness. Should you need anything else, please don't hesitate
I'll
to
put my
ask.
hand out.
You just lick your ring off?
And just look around to make sure some people saw that.
And you see an old man walking with a big walking stick kind of stop, and he goes.
So
Oh man.
clearly they're aware of the sickness that's going on, or else all these people wouldn't be going to the temple. So I'm sure others are already dealing with it. We should make our way to the biggest inn we can and see if anyone's heard of Zera. You're from here. Do you have any contacts that can help us maybe?
Oh yeah. So Bronson's gonna think back to
Randy Savage is in town all of a sudden.
Random
from the cream of the crop.
Yeah, brother, you better fucking believe it.
I'm gonna go Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage for every conversation now.
Give me some rubber bands and I'll be Captain Lou.
So Bronson's gonna think what the nearest biggest inn is in this part of town where he's got friends or contacts.
So, if you were to go due south, because you're about halfway center mass to the Temple District,
Yep.
you go due south to the slums. There's the Leaky Nip,
The Leaky Nip. Love it.
which is a pretty decent kind of dive-in bar. It's something mermaid. It's the nicer one. Let me look it up.
That's the one that was
The
in
tan mermaid?
Busty mermaid.
The busty mermaid? The overflowing mermaid?
The Blushing Mermaid.
The we were close!
The Blushing Mermaid Inn would be the nicer one.
Okay. So I'll relay that to the group and be like, "This is the Leaky Nip. It's where I'll likely find most of my friends and the disgusting folk that I tend to associate myself with here. Probably run into old Bobby Knuckles that's sitting around on the porch playing stones for coins. He never stops. And Remy the Pervert's been known to keep a room as a regular there. And he's got a hole in the wall where he likes to watch what goes on in the rooms on the other side of him. He's got his name for a reason. However, we could go to the Blushing Mermaid, where more well-to-do folk are more likely to be checking in and doing their business there. A lot less insidious folk there.
Zella is a lady of discerning taste, if I remember correctly.
Boy, so Blushing Mermaid's likely where we want to be heading.
Let's head that way then. Quickly now.
Works for me.
If there's assassins after her, we must let her know. Although if she ends up being a fucking dragon, poor all the assassins are trying to get her.
So that's a good point. We didn't put together until now that we were coming to warn someone that dangerous folk were after them when turns out they are a multiple-ton, fire-breathing, tail-swinging, destroying machine.
But if you look on the list,
If-
some of them are crossed off, so they clearly all can't be dragons.
So while we're on our
let's not
way,
jump to conclusions.
and we're on our way to the Blushing Mermaid. right?
Pussy, champion of the clover. Am I reading this right?
It's a different character. God damn it!
Can your character read?
He suddenly became Deckard Cain. Let me just consult my notes here. I don't know. Wait, it's 89-year-old Deckard Bane.
Yeah.
You study like a younger man.
Deckard Bane.
Shit. Sorry. Okay, so
to the blushing mermaid.
so we're on our way to the Blushing Mermaid, but
Yeah.
Bronson's gonna ask. So we're in the Temple District still currently, right?
Yeah.
So.
You're heading to the northeast. To go
So
to
the
Blushing
equivalent
Mermaid.
of Santa ringing a bell asking for donations outside of one of the temples, he's gonna find some religiously appointed individual as we're making our way and be like, lad, let me over here for a moment. I know we've been hearing tale that
Hello there. My name's Merrick.
Hi.
How can I help you?
Oh Jesus. Lad, I've
Yes?
heard tale that
You're talking to me. Yeah, what's up? I'm Merrick. Do you want to be my friend?
Merrick.
Yeah. You remembered my name.
You're a good lad.
Hey, you remembered my name.
Hey,
I'm Merrick.
how old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, all right. You'll be all right, lad. You'll be all right. And he
Yeah.
shakes it.
Whoa,
Gives
whoa,
him a pat on
whoa,
the cheek.
yeah. See,
Pull
I know-
together, lad!
That's a term of affection, but that kind of hurt. It stung just a bit right here in my shoulder.
Maverick, shut your damn mouth. I've got questions.
Mm-hmm.
Good lad. I've heard tell that the scaly folk, dragonborn and the like, have been of interest to the authorities round Baldur's. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you nod? Can you shake your head? Does that sound familiar? Okay, you can talk. What are you saying there?
Thanks for that. I really haven't had anybody very interested. You guys want to talk about the temple?
Maybe later. I was curious about whether or not Dragonborn and the like have been mistreated in Baldur's lately, and if you've been seeing them being rounded up or taken out.
Oh yeah. A lot of them.
And he points over and you see just Dragonborn hung
Oh,
along
shit.
the interior walls.
Jesus.
Like
body
Hanging
like-
from the neck.
okay. I thought for a second it was like the party letters where it said Dragonborn.
Yeah, they did that with their bodies.
This is a party.
Joyous Dragonborn Day.
Wow.
So, are they just killing on sight then?
Oh, I'm
authorities of
sure
Baldur's.
there's some type of due process, but nobody's really ever asked me a question. I don't even know how to talk, intelligibly about a subject like that, because there's a lot of opinions of people who've never talked to me that.
All right,
I
lad,
might
and we
be
just
able
walk
to-
off. We're just gonna walk off.
Hey, wait! What's your name? I'm Merrick. What's your name?
Merrick or Eric?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Good
I'll grab him by the arm and just say,
Can I come with you? Where
this
you guys
conversation's over.
going? Okay. What's the next conversation gonna be? I'm Merrick, by the way.
I'm gonna cast minor illusion, and there's a parrot on his shoulder.
Whoa! Hey,
And then we-
I'm Merrick.
We start hustling away.
Wow, that's great. What do you guys do? You're just gonna lay there? Don't poop on me. People don't talk to me enough.
Okay, we're on our way.
Yeah.
We're on our way.
Jesus Christ. Did I get punished for talking to an NPC? Alright, we're going to the blushing bird. But
Just
No,
try
it's-
to do interesting shit.
Seriously, there's a bunch of Dragonborn hung along the side of the wall.
yeah.
How do you know they're dragonborn?
They're
Because
lizard people.
They are lizard people.
They're like lizard folk, but dragony.
Dragons. Maybe with wings, some of them.
Really? They have wings?
I think
Yeah, some have like really
Draconians. So the biggest delineation is tail or no
They have
tail.
tails, yeah. Or
Um,
lizard folk have tails.
no, so they will have a different face than what
Yeah.
lizard folk would. Dragonborn have like higher crests over
Yeah.
their eyes. Lizard people are more like a typical lizard all the way around. Dragonborn, more upright,
Yeah.
square
More
shoulders.
human-like.
Yeah, like a really buff dude with just a lizard head and like the rest of them. Those are Dragonborn. So anything that has scales seems to have gone through some kind of mob justice and has been hung at various points along the city walls of Baldur's Gate.
Are there any fishmongers hanging along?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk to a
No, because they use scales. Are there any fishmongers hanging?
You're horrible.
Take it away. Does he have me to take away?
And nothing except my soul.
Okay, so we're right outside the.
Highly just like they're fucking killing people. That's not good. We can't.
So, surprises you. You've known about this for like the last probably 3 to 4, 5 months because of the 2 months you've been kind of bouncing around up in Waterdeep.
Sure.
Anything that looks or acts, smells, thinks, anybody who equates anything with dragons after this Tiamat thing, there is just genocide against anything with scales that is up and moving.
Okay.
And that's every city you guys have been in. You've been sticking more to the wilds and the Underdark as you've been coming through, so a little bit less exposed to what's gone on.
I can't fucking believe they're just killing people.
I can believe it. Now let's go.
Eases dark times. Let's make our way to the mermaid.
So as you walk into the Blushing Mermaid, you see Lothlander, who is the name of the barkeep. he has his bust out on the front of the Blushing Mermaid. So like probably like mid-chest up, there's a sculpture of him.
Okay.
And it is done out of stone. It's on an obelisk standing up in the middle of a fountain.
Okay.
As you guys come up, this is a 3-story establishment.
Wow.
And the bottom floor is almost exclusively just bar and dining areas. You can see a partition laid out for a kitchen. There's a performance stage that's out there with what you would consider to be pretty opulent looking lanterns that you can drop little gel films of different colored glasses into it to change the lighting up on the stage. And so they do like actual dramatic performances up here. The roof on the bottom floor in this is about 15 feet, which is huge considering the technology here for like a non-vaulted stone edifice.
Yeah.
So the closest thing you guys have seen to a religious building that clearly has no religious purpose. Scattered about are nice tables with carvings into the top of them that are designer looking tables. There are really nice chairs that again have a uniform carving across them, and at simple glance looks to be as if by magical means that they were shaped because of how uniform everything in there looks. The conversation is not very loud in there. There's several isolated small groups of people talking as you guys enter in, but you can see Lathander, who is a middle-aged elf with a full head of hair that is kind of a walnut color. That hangs, very pointedly off of his shoulders, perfectly split. So it's like, think of like early WoW, how hair doesn't move at all.
Sure.
And it is like, that's how well appointed and everything is supposed to be in its proper place.
Huh.
As he's standing there and he's looking about the bar. Hail, and good tidings to you, please. Make your way into the Rushing Mermaid. Might I get you some topaz wine or one of our 10 years stout ales? What can we get for you?
Your name, sir?
My name is Lathander.
Lathander, surely. I should have known. And I'll laugh loudly and slap her on the shoulder and go, I am Valker and my party.
Valker, please come forth. Have an ale, and he pours in.
And the stage, sir, while you're pouring the ale. Where should we set up for the evening? I believe I'm booked for this evening, yes?
I've not known that you were on the book, but
Baltar's message down. My agent, famous in the north.
up in Waterdeep, yes, he's known.
For I am a
No, I am a huge fan, and you see this very measured, very tall for an elf, kind of start melting into a fanboy at this part.
That's great.
Just so you know, I don't want you to take this personally. We have tried extensively to be able to book you here. It seems like any time we have an opening, you are out gathering more material for your music. I am sorry that we have not been able to. Yes, are you his crew? Please, do your work. Bring his things in while we see to his needs. Thank you. And
my ninja will be guarding me the entire time.
I'm just gonna grip my sword very tightly.
Like knuckles.
And just be like,
and he comes up to you, Mr. Ninja. Very, very nice to meet you.
My name is Genji!
Good help. So hard to find these days. Indeed. You may want to teach him, as he does not seem to be from here, that it is not oft good fortune to yell at such a good business
I'm gonna be cursing Valkyr in my native language, audibly but quietly.
His blood sugar's a little low. Might we get a meal perhaps before we sit?
Good idea.
So yes, your meal will be on the house. You, sir, appear to eat a large amount. I could give you a discount, perhaps. We have a bevy of things to eat. We have some pheasant that has been brought in. There are a few turkeys that I have. I was going to be preparing for in the morning, but
I'm gonna slap the table and at the same time cast minor illusion with like a to emphasize the noise and slap it. So, sir, do you think me poor?
very well, sir.
And I'm just gonna throw some gold, 3 gold coins right at him.
And he certainly, sir.
Should we
you see
leave?
him run back?
Should we leave now and
He
head
runs
down
back
to the?
and he comes out and he has a platter that has been very hastily. Different cuts of meat have been laid upon this.
Oh, we got
We've
the charcuterie platter.
Nice. You've got pieces of like rib steak. There is a good amount of pork belly that has been very slow roasted on there, and you're able to detect a type of eel.
Unagi. Ooh, very interesting.
In a mint and lime hot sauce that he has brought out in a separate platter.
Pardon me, you said your name was Lathander. Lathander, is that eel in lime in hot sauce, mint and lime hot sauce?
Yes, you have a keen eye.
Yes, I'll have the whole platter, please. Yeah, thank you.
Is it okay with you, sir?
Oh, don't ask me. Is it more gold you need? Do I need to slap the counter? What? Do we need to go? What was the name of the other pub that requested us?
Oh, no, certainly, sir. And he lays the platter out before you.
That's great. Very, very unladylike. You see Glasmalin reach out and grab the platter and make her way over to the closest table and kind of bump 3 or 4 people out of the way to sit down, and she just starts tearing into it.
I guess the lights aren't getting set up then.
That's amazing.
Oh man.
That's great.
Lathander, now, thank you for giving us
Certainly, sir.
ale
Yes.
and food and
What else do you need to
Bring
prepare
more
for
if you
your
don't
show? I can send the boy out, and the boy can start bringing the crowds in. When will you be prepared to take the main stage, sir?
it will be a few hours. We need time. We just got off the road.
Ask about normal.
Oh, yes. My colleague here had a question, I believe, while I drink this fine glass of Chardonnay.
I'm
That's
sorry,
not
sir.
in front of me yet.
We have no Chardonnay.
Red
I
wine,
do
then.
have a Topaz wine.
Topaz would be fine.
Certainly, sir.
Genji,
Do you have a Daiginjo Junmai sake?
So there are many ladies of varying sexual orientations that I would be more than happy to
He's
bring
a
to
rice
your room.
wine.
Ice wine? You
Rice.
want your
Rice.
wine cold? I will be right back. And he pops up, and you see a very frosty cup of wine, and he puts it there before you.
I want to pick it up and like.
Genji Ninja, please enjoy this iced wine. We are honored, and he's like speaking really loud at you because he thinks that you don't understand what he's saying. We are very honored to have you here at the Blushing Mermaid. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. How much?
Your benefactor has already paid for you.
For
boy.
he is a bard, and he has a goal.
For he is the board who we've all foretold.
I'm just gonna chug the whole thing.
Oh, that's
Chug it.
good. You can write that down. You should
Lathander.
also actually write that down.
Yeah.
That's great.
No.
come
Plural.
close. Oh, come close. We had a friend come through recently.
Oh, I'm sure you have many friends.
I do, but this one is very important.
Okay.
Her name was Zira, Lady of Lightning. Do you know anything?
I know
Vizira?
Vizira Faywin.
She also
I
goes
don't-
by that name.
Then you may do well to stay away if she's got such a grand title. Either she's dabbling in the magics, or she's one of them scale fucks.
Well, what do you know about Faywin then? They're probably two separate people.
Well, the Zero is staying here.
Right now.
Typically, when I mean, pardon me, Master, but when somebody says they're staying here, I don't mean in this space, but within this
I'm just gonna
domicile.
go like this. Glassmaker, get your ass over here.
And then she stands up and she's got lime and mint sauce.
Just like a beer.
Like it is. She's covered in. There's some on the top of her.
Nice.
Sorry. I had some of that.
I would be remiss
Now
if I did not.
continue on.
And he pulls a hanky
Oh.
and is like tentatively.
And as his hands get close to me, I just kind of smack it away. Hands off the merchandise.
Lathander, continue. You mentioned she was here right now.
Zira is here.
Oh yes, you will find her up on the third floor. She has taken one of our most appointed rooms, which leads me to an apology, sir. Had I known that you would be coming here, and I perhaps could broker a conversation to move her to a lower classroom so that you will feel comfortable after you have given your performance
That
this
will be
evening.
that will be fine. That will be fine.
Certainly,
and we'll
I
take
shall
your-
return.
We'll take your room.
Oh, absolutely. It would be my honor. Do you want me to take my wife out, or do you...
What?
Well, she can go with you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's amazing.
Thank you, sir.
Holy
And he,
No need
she
for
turn
anything.
around and he walks off, and you hear this, what the fuck? And you hear, la, la, la. You hear some pots and pans in the back. You did what, Kirby?
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Kirby.
I'll lean over to you and say, I'll stay down here and keep him busy while you and some of the boys.
So yeah, I'll grab the notes and be like, we need to explain to him what's been going on. Let's go visit.
Let's go upstairs.
So I'll go with Glaz.
I'm gonna set my.
Here.
Here's
Stay with you and watch.
watch my stuff. And that's it's my bag and my shield and my warhammer, but I got the loot over my shoulder.
We'll go act like we're setting up by the
I'm like
stage.
adjusting the light. I'm like, no, up.
Yeah.
So you're gonna help set up the stage while we go visit.
And you're only speaking the Coca-Cola polar bear language.
Really slowly.
I'll walk upstairs with these two.
Okay.
On the way up, I'll lean over to Glasmail and I'll be like, "Oh, you eat unagi like a starving beggar. Oh, a very voracious appetite."
When I was traveling from Earth, I had some sazal, and at first I turned my nose up at it, but I'll tell you what, it's the best fucking thing I've ever put in my mouth.
Mm.
Granted, I haven't put a lot
I'm
of
just gonna
things in
chuckle
my mouth.
myself. Hi, unagi very appetizing.
It's very good. Aye. So we're heading up to Zira's room. He's up on the third floor, so I'm assuming when we get to the third floor, there's many rooms.
You go up there, and there are not several doors. There are 3 doors.
Left or right, where he's at.
I don't know, maybe 3 doors down.
Correct.
Jesus Christ.
So I'll go to the last door and knock on it. Doom, doom, doom.
Oh, damn it. I had something for this. Here we go.
What? Oh. And you hear...
That's the double spinning back kick.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't matter.
Alright. So you go in and you walk through the hallway. All of the doors here are have some kind of gilding on the frames, so there's a good shine to them. Clearly, people of affluence are offered these areas. There are 2 guards that are seated up in the hallway, and they look over as you guys are coming over to knock and say, "Oh, say your business."
My name's
What
Glasmere.
might you be interested in, Raphael?
Yeah, my name's Glasmere and Amble Chest, and I've crafted a lute for Zira, and I'm here to deliver it to her. And I pull the sack from off my shoulder and I open up and show him.
Oh, fuck me. Look at the neck on that one, Jimmy.
It's quite a nice lute. Now, what room is she staying in?
The one you're standing in front of.
Alright.
How do you know Zero?
I spent some time with her, and she gifted me this cloak, and I said I'd pay her back by crafting her lute.
I mean, oh.
And it billows out like the wind blowing on it.
Any elbows?
Nice look from the front and the rear.
I like these guys.
They're kind of elbowing back and forth.
Yes, certainly. Let us announce you.
Oh.
Your name?
Glasmere and Amble Chest. This is my friend Blonson, and this is Genji Ninja.
Oh, and lads, if you're thirsty, I hear they've got ale downstairs.
Oh, we've been slathering.
I bet you
a
have.
few.
I bet you've slathered a thing or two in your bag.
Alright.
They call me the Breaker.
Breaker of ice.
Stone. Stone
Yeah. Okay, we're buddies, right? Okay, so we're
And then
walking
in the-
over
in the
here because
distance
I'm
you hear-
helping you.
P16!
Alright, anyway. So you guys are
on the way
escorted
in,
over.
I'm gonna say to the guard very quietly, if you call me ninja, I break you in ways Breaker could never dream of.
Not to be rude,
And granted, you clearly not from here.
why would you not want to be known by your own surname? You don't get along with your pop?
Cuts him 17 times and
Yeah.
sprays apart.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. It's not what I'm gonna do. You never call me ninja again. And I just walk.
That's
Alright, so, and you hear they take their halberds and they're kind of clunk, 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 clunk. And then you hear,
One second.
and you hear fumbling of multiple locks. And then the door opens, and you see kind of a platinum blonde lock of hair come down.
Yes.
And it is Zira.
You can't see because you got the guys in between you.
Zira, it's me. How are you?
Oh, bless my heart, it's Glasgow. Yeah, please come in. Oh, you're a rough one.
These are my friends. This is Bronson and this is Genji. They've saved me my life, and they're friends. I've come to deliver you the loot that you ordered.
Alright, come on in, please.
Bronson
Please.
fixes up his mustaches and dusts himself off and shakes her and kisses her hand.
But when he dusts himself off, really, he's just spreading the blood on his tunic.
Clean up, wash his
No,
hands.
I'm just kidding.
So,
Like mud on the ground in her apartment. No,
so he's like kicking his boots against each other, and pieces are all on the
no,
ground.
he doesn't do that.
No, so
Close the door behind me when he
you
gets
guys, as you're coming in, you are struck by how hurt and withered Zira looks.
Oh. Zira, what's wrong with you?
And very slowly, as she's putting her hand on any horizontal object she can to steady herself,
Oh shit.
she goes over to the corner of the room, and she's wearing a full cloak, all around gloves and the like, and comes and sits down next to the hearth that's there in the room.
Something has happened. A few nights ago, it seems that there's something that's happened to me, and apparently several others. I've sent word, I have reviewed tomes, I don't know what is happening.
Zira, is there anything we can do to help? What? Let me see her. Maybe I can.
And she looks over at the two of them.
They're friends. They can be trusted.
I'll stand up and turn around.
Thank you.
Genji, you're honored. It surprises me every day.
She, and Bronson stops pouring himself the drink he was pouring. What's about that? He goes, oh, right, oh, no, yeah. And then comes and joins him and faces the wall.
Yeah, so she.
And then once he's facing the wall, reaches over and grabs the drink. And he's having a wine.
I was gonna say, you grab the bottle of wine and finish that.
He goes back for the cup and then goes back for the bottle.
So she pulls her cloak, the hood of it back, and you see bluish scales like along the ears. So think of like the softest, most supple skin on a human form.
Like, you mean like this?
No.
All those areas, all those areas have like scales, and it's almost as if like there was scales there, and the rest of her is just makeup. You see it kind of start fading in some of these areas, and then she comes back. Her face is gaunt, and her hands look very aged for how young she looked when you saw her last.
Yeah, a man told me a rumor that you're a dragon.
It would not be for these walls as he is. Is this all that is with you?
No, we've got 2 more mates down on the 1st floor, but I mean, they can be trusted as well. One of them's he's a key grip, and the other's
And Bronson goes, Genji, let's give these girls the cover they need to have the conversation that they want. And he starts stomping and clapping. Goes, for I am a bard. let's get them warmed up. And he elbows Genji. He goes, I know you know these songs. You know the words, lad. And so like we're just gonna be yelling out toward the toward the door so that they can talk.
So
and we're getting drunk.
She says, "You might want to collect your friends and let me know when you are ready to go to a more private place."
Oh, Zira. Well, the reason we're here, I was coming to deliver the loot, and we got ambushed by an assassin. I'm not sure. They're looking for our friend Yutan, something with his history in the Mages Academy, the Red Wizards, and
You were traveling with a red wizard of Thay?
a former Red Wizard of Thay.
There are no former red wizards.
I mean, he's blue.
And she looks very confused.
His skin is blue. He seems like a decent man. He saved my life. We found letters on their bodies that had your name on it.
And Bronson.
He hands him over. He's like,
produce-
oh, yeah, my ball.
I saw your name on there, and by happenstance, the blessings of Damaran, we found you safe. And
That it is true, they have slain Grovade. Pisces? Raizu?
do you know these people?
Bertano? I fought Bertano. He was a black chromatic dragon.
Fought.
Okay. I heard it too.
I was like, this is a very somber moment. We're shifting gears. Sorry. Alright.
I fought Bertano.
Wow, these guys.
I'm sorry.
I keep hearing
You got the hot face.
I've repeatedly fought Bertano.
Now he's fucking with us. He's fighting with us.
Are they dragons?
2, maybe 3 centuries ago,
Oh shit.
we quarreled.
Bronson, give me that fucking bottle.
And he hands her an empty bottle.
So, Trini, you're
And then elbows Genji because he's got a full glass.
Trini, you're the dragon, and these other names, they're dragons too.
Collect your friends. We must go to a quieter place.
Right away.
Then I walk over to you two.
Lads, there's fucking something going on. I don't know what it is, but I'll stay with Zara. One of you run downstairs and get Valka and Jotun.
And Bronson turns to Genji and goes for the rock, paper, scissors.
It's stone shears parchment.
That's what I said. Stone shears parchment. All right, you call it. You running or am I running?
I'll go.
All right, go get him. Oh well, it's me. And he goes back to go find some more drinks at her bar.
And you see that the platinum silver color to her hair, she keeps adjusting so as not to show any of her skin that is afflicted.
We'll wait for my friends to get back.
Wait a few minutes, I guess.
Yeah, I'll head downstairs and go get these two.
So you come downstairs and you can see a very thick crowd that is around Valker, and this would be the first time chronologically that he has returned to Baldur's Gate since his #1 hit, I Am a Bard. You see fanboys and fangirls with
Yes, I know.
quills,
Thank you. Yes.
and they are dropping pots of ink, like spilling it out everywhere.
15 gold apiece. Yes, thank you.
Normally, roll a performance check.
Not even performing yet.
15.
So you think you could probably charge 5 silver per autograph?
They're not rich. That's
5 silver. That's it? No, today's free.
And so he's over there signing parchment, signing tits. God.
Can we open the door over here?
Yeah, I will wake up the kiddo.
It's at mouth level for me.
Sorry. What about windows? Do we have windows that can open?
We do have windows right behind us.
Look at that. How much you open the window?
how
there?
you open all
Fart factory.
So the autographs are being given away for free while he defecates on the crowd.
Yeah. So it's like a Guar concert.
that is terrible.
More spikes and blood, please.
Yeah. So he's pretty well hounded. You see a lot of folks, like the young of the young, are extremely interested in Jotun because they've never seen something that big before. And so they're kind of poking you with their fingers and looking up at you, and like anytime you even move like an arm, you see them like scurry away and then like look back up. So the really young kids are having fun with Jotun. There's a few young children that are kind of interested in Valker, and they're singing and banging pots and that kind of stuff, but mostly it's like teenagers. And then there's 2 really awkward looking middle-aged women that are kind of standing really close and kind of looking at him. You can open the other ones too.
I think it's fine.
One-
That would
one's
be
a
those
good
fuckers.
fuckers.
Yeah. So I'll walk. Is he on stage or off stage?
He's off the side.
Okay, so I'll go like, we have very important business to take care of. Very, very important business. Related to wasting away time.
We'll have to get him out of here.
Oh, let me handle that.
Go get him.
All right, so I'm gonna walk up to the stage. Hey!
Roll me 2d12, 3d12. Valker.
This is how many people you have attached.
12, 3, and 4. 19.
19. Okay. So you've got 19 total people kind of thronged up around you, up around the stage. And of that, roll a d6.
3.
So you have like 3 bouquets of flowers that people have brought to you. They have bought you probably 4 or 5 different drinks that are just sitting there kind of sudsing up in front of you. Of different ale types, and you're pretty content where you're at in the world.
So I'm gonna walk up next to him, and I'm just gonna be like, For I am a bard, and it's time to read.
What was that?
For
All of the fans are here.
bard, and we have business to take care of.
Cool. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may have a minute, please. Do they quiet down?
Yeah, they're very much staring directly at you, hanging on every word.
It is now time for us to take a nap, for we need a break before the first act.
Are you casting sleep?
No.
Holy shit, that'd be amazing.
That's
One
awesome.
hit point, one hit point.
Yeah.
One hit point,
Yeah.
and just put everyone to sleep.
Just gotta roll 19.
We will be back in time for the show. We have to take our leave now. Thank you all for coming, and I'll like stand up and bow and do some other shit and like play the lute as I walk away.
And Lathander is like following you, kind of poking at all the different magical things that are
Oh yeah.
note-wise that are.
Oh yeah, what are you
materialized
thinking of
around.
as you play it? Because illusions come off of it.
Mountains and
And so he's
No,
like
I'm-
running
I'm
his
stretching
hand
my
like.
I'm stretching my hand.
He's
He's like,
like,
no,
give you a
no.
signal.
No to mountain! No mountain!
winter breezes and like sunshine pastures and
So like you're a bard in the original EverQuest, like whenever you
Whales.
start playing your songs, like notes, like pink notes. Like,
Yeah.
It is literally
I got a
Blind
fancy
Melon
instrument.
No Rain, the music video playing, and you see this girl in a little bee costume
Oh,
running
that's
through a
good.
field.
That's good.
So I'll get to a point where they're all kind of like not paying attention anymore and put the lute away and then follow him upstairs.
Okay, so you guys make it upstairs.
Lathander, we are going to go conduct business if you wouldn't mind watching the stairs for us if we're not disturbed.
Yes, certainly. We will have the stage prepared for you whenever you have had time to reflect and prepare for your delivery.
I'm thinking for the set, we'll do For I Am a Bard 4 times in a row, followed with an intermission, and then 2 subsequent acts of For I Am a Bard.
I certainly would say that is
Excellent.
very
Good.
inspired.
I will go contemplate.
literally a one-hit wonder.
And just embracing it.
Plays it 4 times. Encore 2 more times.
Certainly, sir.
Acoustics.
And he heads downstairs, and you continue up to the third flight. You see the 2 guards over there, and as you come walking by, the 3 of you see them elbow each other, and they're both kind of poking up. Afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Your name.
God
Your
damn it.
name.
It is so nice to meet you. They call me
Yes.
Timmons.
Timmons. Yes. And then your friend.
Oh, yes, this is Charles Winifred IV.
Charles IV. Wow, wonderful. And the last. You said 3.
No, there's
Just 2.
only 2 of us. There are 3 of us.
3 of us. Yeah, sorry. The bottom.
Is there any more beers? Yeah.
Have you found the answer at the bottom?
Many.
Oh, that could be your next song.
The answer's at the bottom of the ale.
Yes.
Very good, very good. I'll get right on it. Bye.
You
And
said,
close-
he said right, like he's gonna write the song. I think he's writing my song. He says we'll get right on it. Oh, shut up! He's not gonna be doing that now. And they argue back and forth as you guys go in. You are greeted as you enter into the room. A hooded figure
Dragon lady.
who is not moving very well. She has been returning from the wash basin in the corner of the room and very slowly, measuredly taking each individual step, grabbing each horizontal surface to steady her. She exhales, collects herself, and sits down before the hearth.
See, this is my friends Valkyr and Jotun. Jotun, Valkyr, this is Zera. Apparently a fucking dragon.
Valkyr, you are known to me.
I'll do like a bow, I guess.
You have frost giant blood.
Mm-hmm. Well spotted, milady. It was a pleasure to meet you, and most unfortunate circumstances, it seems.
Well spoken for a oft angry, barbaric type. I see you are in tune with the weave.
Yes, I'm well educated. I'm in fact the Goliath champion. My tribe saw fit to see that I was provided with the best education, including elocution lessons.
Indeed. If you would please follow me. And
Let me help you. And I give her my arm and
she pulls up, and you feel a weight
like
on
3 tons.
You. Yeah, like pulling down more than what this frail form would have. She steadies herself. She goes to the corner, and you see her take a staff and draw designs on the ground, and they have a burning silver look, but it doesn't look like there's no smoke coming from it. It just seems like it's a burning brand that she's slowly drawing, and makes a circle. I do not have long to keep this open. Hurry in. And she makes one final slash and dematerializes, and there's a pulsating circle on the ground. What do you do?
Step into it.
5, 4,
Jump in.
3,
Yeah.
2,
Go on. Yeah.
1. All right, so you guys go in, and you are instantly transported. And that's the end of the campaign.
Oh.
Dummies. I was just getting warmed up.
You guys, you pop out, and you are on what would seem to be a very cold, like mountainscape area inside of a cave. You see a collection of large amounts of jewels, of trinkets,
Sick.
armors, and the like. And
It's crazy.
she stands before you and says, "You might do well to stand right over there."
I'll go
Do
stand
exactly
We'll go
what
stand
you're
over
saying.
there.
Points.
And Bronson goes, "Oh, I'm glad she's gonna do the superhero pose."
Yeah.
Makes everybody back up.
Superhero Lenny. Superhero Lenny.
And before you, you see kind of an extension, a glowing of light as her limbs seem to lengthen. Her back starts to curl down, her neck elongates, and before you, you see probably the largest silver dragon that you have ever seen in your life. But the luster of her scales, after seeing the white one, seems to be less. You see a claw mark across the front of her chest where scales are missing, and you see what looks to be a very, not necessarily festering, but an aggravated wound that has since healed over on her chest. And before you stands Zira, Lady of Lightning, an elder silver dragon.
Wow.
Elder Silver.
Glasmela is aroused.
What like when traditionally we would encounter, like my clan or family would encounter like very old dragons, what would we do? Just
It would be immediately bowing in a show of supplication,
okay.
and oft you would pledge your blade, but that's up to you.
I'll do the
See-
bowing part
Okay.
immediately, but yeah.
Bronson, needless to say, was mid-drink when she transformed and sprays wine everywhere.
And
Does a spit.
when I see him starting to bow, I'm comfortable because we don't bow. I'm
Yeah.
Is that the waist?
I don't know.
Can I take a knee?
She looks all awkward trying to do it.
And Zira looks down and says, Genji, there's no need for that. As she coughs very deeply.
Okay.
And,
Stand back up.
She says the formality is not needed. I'm afraid I must ask you all for favors.
Like, you mean like a hanky that you hang on the end of your spear, or like favor? What do you mean?
Oi, it means we're gonna do her a solid, do her one of the helping hands, give her the old generous offering, give her a, when somebody needs a thing and you give them the thing.
Oh, yeah, right. Zella, you're the loot.
And
Again, with the awkward bow.
you see a huge clawed hand, roughly the size of you,
Yeah.
come forth, and very delicately, 2 claws reach around it and pull it back and brings it to her.
Gulp.
And you see her with her wing brush aside some of like the
gold
and stuff like that, and she sets it very nicely
Aw.
up on there.
That's awesome.
You hear a and as the beating starts becoming more apparent, a gust of wind is blowing through the tunnel.
Whoa.
And you can hear
It's another dragon.
and this kind of quicksilver colored dragon kind of pokes its head around, so almost like T-1000.
Whoa! Like
And
a,
the way
like a
that
Mercury
it's
looking
like a
thing.
Mercury look.
We're level 3.
Pokes his head around and then lets out the loudest roar at you guys, and a wing immediately comes up and buffets him in the face, and he pulls back and sits down. And Zira says, "Ruto, there will be no need for that."
Who's got the list? Where's the list?
What's this?
Oh, somebody's got the list over here.
And Ruto Weesnarl is on there, and you see this is very puny, small, gaunt dragon, but not unhealthy looking the way that Zira looks.
I see.
And Zira, from that kind of pop up, like, hey, pump your shit down, goes and coils up on her gold, and you see her head, just kind of out of energy, lumps her head down.
I'm gonna rush up and put my hand on her and cast Cure Light Wounds.
So, whenever you cast in, normally you have felt almost like the biology of the things that you've tried to heal. You can feel yourself as you put your hand on there, the essence or the casting power that you would normally get, coming out of Dungmarin through you being channeled, almost like you're doing remote hands to perform an operation. You start to reach in and you feel the god's power coming in, but there's really nothing you feel like you can fix within her. It just feels like she's decaying.
Bronson's gonna look, oh Jesus, and put his wine under his arm and go through his backpack, and he pulls out the elixir of life that he has and goes, Glass, I don't think this is gonna work on so big a lass, but I got this if you want to offer it. And he'll proffer the elixir of life.
You clearly, someone as ancient and powerful as you would know, but this elixir, would it help?
And she kind of shakes her head, and you hear Gold kind of clamoring and getting knocked over and falling as she's doing it, and just kind of lays her head down. And she says, "Ruto, what have you found?" And you see this mercurial dragon morph down into a halfling. And he's a small, shrimpy looking halfling, and he says, "Well, there's..."
It's Chaz!
No, Chaz talks like this.
Let's start a little bit higher. So I went and I went to Candlekeep. They wouldn't let me in at first, but then I snuck in at night. As I was going through and doing some reading, I think it's an atropal.
What word?
A tropal.
Okay.
I'll approach Zira as well. I'll be like, "Oh, most noble dragon, please permit me to share with you very disturbing dreams that I have been having."
Okay.
So then I'll tell her about the visions I saw with the ruby and the jade dragons, and then the ones following after that with all the various chromatic and metallic dragons and all that.
Our Jin brethren are not widely known in this part of the world. Excuse me, I got dizzy there for a second. It is a dangerous time. We have been hunted. Flights of dragons have been executed. Our dragon kin have been lynched in the streets and hung just for the cursed fee of Tiamat. She's been sent back to the Nine Hells weekend, but I fear that which keeps the Nine Hells separate from here has also been weakened.
And Ruto comes up and climbs over to her and says,
You probably shouldn't be trying so hard. Oh jeez. Yeah, you don't look so good. I don't even know what to do for you. Like I said, in Candlekeep, here's the text.
and he just starts opening up this large leather-bound book, and you hear creaking in the binding as he opens it. And then she starts, kind of her head moving, and then she kind of, and air out of a nostril will turn the page, and, yep.
There's a page turner for you.
And so she does this repeatedly,
And says, Hi, then I guess, we'll have to make our way under the jungle canopies.
and
He says,
As I sit there, I mean, there's a lot of really big things down there. I don't know if I'm really built to do this. I'll go wherever you tell me to go.
and she says, Oh, gentle Ruto, let us go. I shall rest there and see if we can get to the bottom of this atropal.
and she looks over at the rest of you and says,
Asmeline, it's not fair for me to ask, but there are forces here that are as I fear, and a tropal is being leveraged to suckle at our life force.
and she goes into a rather long, just because I'm starting to hyperventilate doing the impression.
I need oxygen.
Yeah. She goes through and starts telling you guys that, and whenever Ao, the god of gods, had first kind of wrought the multiverse away from the Titans, that there were various gods that were kind of, think about like Zeus creating the other gods on Mount Olympus. A similar thing is taking place, and various gods are being born or being thought of, and as mortals on the ground worship them, they were able to get more powerful and mature. Certain areas that were blighted, or certain areas where there were, damages to the weave, damages to the fabric of space and time, the gods that were appointed over those areas and those forces never went full term. So almost as a late third trimester fetus, there are bodies of gods that are in limbo that haven't fully come to godhood, but they are extremely powerful. And these atropals are kept in limbo in the astral sea, and if people can go and steal them, there's ways for them to be able to use it. And so
The fetus?
Yes.
Like
To use the fetus?
It's like
Yes.
a god
It's a thing,
voodoo
though.
doll thing.
You don't know.
See, I want to reduce suffering in the world, as I really do, but I mean, the things you're talking about there, they seem well beyond our capabilities. I swing this fucking hammer and I can heal some scratches.
I swing 2 at the thing I got.
2 is twice the number of 1,
That's right.
Bronson.
It's about as
And
much
you are
mass as I can do.
stout-hearted. What I will tell you is a being of my size and breadth cannot make the journey myself. The fact that Ruto has been unaffected makes me question the nature of this.
Oh, fuck. Hey, thanks. You're the best. I'm the worst.
Before it
Thank you. Yeah. I totally put that in the freezer and tried to sabotage you.
Very well.
So I left my wine in your pile of gold over there.
So she goes through and says, basically the fact that it is going to be extremely difficult for her to scout, for her to move in her weakened state.
Yeah.
And with the anti-dragon sentiment that is so pervasive, it's hard for her to hide her true nature. And so she needs to go to a place where she can help direct and if needs be intercede, but she is not doing well and seems to be withering.
What would you have us do?
We must locate if some maleficent force has brought an atropal to this plane. We must find it, and we must kill that atropal, or banish it away from the plane, so that whatever purpose seems to be afflicting me can be stopped, and then we can turn our attention to those that wish to do the dragonkind harm.
Time out. Do I understand that? I understand the nature of the god fetuses that you explained. That's a bit laden with some shit I never even thought to think of. You saying that some sick fuckers have got a hold of one of these things, and they're using it and their magics to make you and your ilk sick? Is that related?
I believe that you were a party to honest elements, to nefarious purposes. And she's kind of looking past you and into you at the same time. And it's the wrong document. I need to get the secondary name. One second. That when you were under the employ of the profane end, and you purged and sunk the Moro.
Yeah.
That was part of your quarry.
Right. But what do you mean my quarry?
What the profane end was looking to take from that ship, the Moro.
Oh.
It came from the east in Katakura and was laden with a smuggled cargo.
So then the Moro is in like the last surviving ship of my fleet, the Moro? Is that the Moro we're talking about here? Ooh, the Moro!
Yes, Genji. Of your lineage and of your house.
Whoa. And so Bronson, wow, we have to talk this out, don't we? God damn it.
Yeah. So, what the?
All right.
Talk this out.
So you were clearly working in some nefarious type gang environment, yeah? And your family owns a ship, and so you two know each other?
A sheep.
My,
Sheep is now at bottom of ocean.
my sincerest.
I know a little something about that, I gotta say.
What?
Genji, you're gonna be mad, but I swear I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Let me put down my sword first. And I'll set my sword on the ground and then walk away from it like 10 feet.
He hands the bottle of wine over to Genji and goes, "We're still friends, I promise. Let me explain. I can explain."
Famous last one.
Oh boy, this is a heavy
This sounds to
story.
be good.
So he hands him the wine, and before he can drink from it, he takes another drink from it and hands it back to him. See, when I was a lad, I was in with a girl. You know the story. Boy meets girl. Girl's a prolific thief who steals from extremely dangerous people, and he gets caught up in the law wanting to be after him because he's associated with this girl who's inevitably he finds out to be a professional thief and assassin, and she's just terrible bad news.
Seen it a thousand times. Classic Sid and Nancy story.
So, here's this job. She was always getting into some shite that I couldn't get her out of. We had a history, her and I. We was inseparable for the longest time, but the fact of the matter is she was living life fast and loose and dangerous and getting with even the type of fucks that old Bronson knows not to get on the bad side of. She was going after a ship. Turns out later we find this is going to be the Morrow spoke of. And she was going to knock it over for a really, really big amount of money or something very valuable. I don't know exactly what it was she was after.
She was paid to attack the ship.
Boy, she took a job to steal something really, really high value.
What would I have remembered on that ship of being of high value, besides me to my enemies?
You got out as quick as you did.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that there were cargo getting offloaded, onloaded, as you pulled into different ports on your trip from your homeland out west.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have been down with the hands
Naturally.
doing much
Right.
down there, so you do know that whenever you were slicing through people out on the main deck before everything caught fire, that they were making a beeline more towards the cargo hold rather than towards your quarters.
Okay.
Or anything like that, or trying to even commandeer the ship. It was a different kind of piracy than what you had heard tales of. And the ship caught fire during your combat below decks, and started to go under. And so that's whenever they had fallen off. Bronson was under the understanding that out of his crew, the only one he really cares about is Alana, and he's wanting to go and save her. She gets, as the mast snaps from the flames and falls down, it kind of comes down between them and cuts the boat in half. He gets flung one way, she gets flung the other, and he assumes that she fell to the bottom. The undertow was rough on all of you, and pretty much, especially for you, took everything you could do to swim up with your armor on, to be able to grab a hold of part of the top mast, to be able to stay afloat. And this was in the middle of the evening, and so the flames, you could see that there was a lot of wreckage out there in the southern Sea of Swords. You don't know how, if anybody was able to be pulled free. Both of you washed up on shore in two different areas.
Yeah.
And that's basically what.
But I
what you
wouldn't
would
remember
recall.
like any of what the cargo or the manifest or anything would be. No, not
All I
necessarily.
know is that whatever Alana was after, she couldn't have got away with it, and she couldn't have survived, because I know my girl, if she had done it and she had made good with that job, she'd have come and found me afterwards. But
Are you
I haven't
sure?
heard from her. Well, yeah, I'm reasonably sure. I mean, we had our times that we didn't get along the best, but we was together through thick and thin, and I think if she would have made that score, she would have came and found me afterwards.
So, are you saying we need to get to the bottom of the ocean?
Best I can
Any
tell.
of you?
Best I can tell, whatever score she was after, she didn't make away with, because I'm pretty sure she died that night.
So
clearly zero leads from us here.
we have
Defeat the Athrobal.
we have heard reports that there are two areas. If you were to focus further south in the Sea of Swords,
What
are we looking for?
So Kalimshan is where the two of you would have washed up on shore. And in between Kalimshan and that island to the west, that is where you guys would have where the Morrow. You were starting to make your way north.
Somewhere in here.
So somewhere out there is where where the Morrow was sunk, and
They have given us reports that the happenings within the island of Cholt have not been good reports. Raz Nissi and his legions of undead have been assaulting the main port town. We do know that
Typical necromancer.
the area down there is home to a few dragons. Tenda is a red dragon who tends to live there in the center.
Zara, is there something on that shipwreckage that we need to get to defeat the Atropal? Is that what you're saying to us?
No, I think the Atropal was being moved by the Morrow.
Pretty sure my girl Alana was hired by, as I said, insidious fucking people. They had hired her, being that she was the best at her craft, to steal something very valuable from that ship. Turns out it was a godforsaken piss cunt fucking god demon fetus baby.
And
One more time. Godforsaken piss cunt.
Yeah.
Third trimester. Hell of an abortion, disgusting freak thing, demon baby.
I'm gonna need you to do that again in a couple of seconds when our internet connection stabilizes and is green, so we can capture it on camera.
Or not.
Somebody downloading something because it started freaking out in like the last 5 minutes.
No, it's
steps on her computer.
Yeah, it's been popping up like red.
Just tell her to get off. Give me 7-Up, please.
You're crazy.
You get off your computer.
Also,
Where are the 7-Up?
Where's the 7-Up?
So, you're telling me, Zara, that you want us to go to the bottom of the ocean, find...
Not at all.
No.
They
Oh, I'm sorry, one second. Please, Valden, what have you heard then? Tell us.
No, there's no need to go to the bottom of the ocean based upon what we've heard coming out of Cholt.
We know somebody's using it.
Yeah, well, clearly, because it's fucking up our friend here. Well, I hope to be a friend.
I don't have much left in me. If you are willing, let us travel down there and investigate.
And with that, she turns back into her elven form with her staff.
Are we going to Cholt?
Looks like it.
Holy hell.
I don't think you say no to a silver dragon. I don't think you say no to that.
You don't say that no to a dragon. And in Draconic, I'll tell her, we will do your bidding. God with wings.
What character is this?
I do speak Draconic. I'm Azamar, dude. I'm my god
Figure out who you
myself.
fucking sound like.
And that's my Draconic accent.
Okay.
That's not
I'll
bad.
take that. I'll take that.
Mod.
So,
That's not my mod.
Port Nyren Zeru
Nyren Zeru?
is the
Yeah.
destination
I see it.
that you guys are going to be going to.
Port Nyren Zuru.
Zaru.
Zaru.
Are you going to teleport us there again?
Follow me.
She puts her hood up and she starts drawing with her staff, and the same glowing embers take place on the ground.
You're gonna have to follow me quickly. I can't keep
I'll put my pack on real quick.
Well, yeah.
And dance a little.
I will take my sword back up.
Hammer and shield in hand. Like,
Milady, should we be grabbing any of these weapons and stuff you got going on here before we go? Never mind, let's go. It's fine.
It's mostly decorations, but
All right, quite right.
I will pledge you an item of your choosing from within here if you can help cure me.
And whenever she says cure me, you hear a snarl in her voice.
Oh, I like that. All right, right through the portal then. Yep, there we go. Yo, ready to drench the kids. Here we go now.
I'm ready to trench the kids.
oh, okay, so I guess,
We'll just warp across the world again.
Gonna warp across the world and then we're going to
All of you guys make a Constitution saving throw.
what'd you call it? God, fuck, shit, cunt, demon, piss cunt, abortion god, baby?
Easy. 21.
8. That's not gonna work. Portal open?
Oh, nice. Nice. 21, 21,
16.
16.
I just had a 20. It wasn't a 21.
8.
9.
So as soon as you guys zip in, yeah, you both vomit everywhere.
We were the two that were drinking too. This is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
That's great. Sure, I
And
mean,
so
it's not
you
a lot,
guys,
but sure.
you guys chuck all over the fucking place.
Yep.
As you materialize, you are on a causeway, and you look around.
This is great.
The blowing of wind is, in your face. You guys are located right here at this causeway, bottom right-hand corner.
Is Rut with
Ruto.
Ruto with us?
Ruto did come with you
Okay.
Oh.
and is in his halfling form. Whoa, why are you? What
Did you want more?
No,
No, we
go
were there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can go there. This is fine.
Okay, come on. Come on.
So,
Movie?
you guys are right there at that causeway. You guys look around. Instantly your senses are assaulted with the sea air, the saltiness, the brininess. You look about you. Most of the personages that are walking around are in a very like light silks that are of multiple colors. You see a decent amount of folks walking around, very dark complected individuals, although you do see a mixture of different species of people that are out there. This is the bastion of civilization in this area. So think of like pirate style Nassau with the way that the buildings are built. It's a mud stucco bottom floor with wooden, very thin pulled wood with kind of palm leaf thatching, very island look. All these buildings kind of have their varying sizes. Most of them are just 2-story with a few single story, and then off to your west you can see a much more, shall we say, affluent area, and those are off to the side to your west. Within this wall, you see a lot of, like right around here, you're seeing a lot of foot traffic through there. Directly to your rear appears to be some type of a harbor master office.
Okay, so we're here, right?
No, like right where you guys are at on this causeway. Directly behind you, that building that's closest to you.
Wooden rectangle.
You see the harbor master office with only one kind of open window with a half door in front of it, and a little bit of a table that is the top of the door.
Right. Like a security office.
Yeah, kind of security office. You look in, and there's a half gold dragon born that is walking around, and people are extremely deferential to him as he's stomp, looking around. You hear him bellowing, very curt and very quick tasks for those around him to accomplish. And they're talking back and forth. You see a bulletin board on there that has the names and whereabouts of several individuals. There's a hand-drawn likeness of these individuals with some words written next to it. At your distance, you really can't tell what's on that bulletin board. You see traffic jams and the like as you're looking at all the dock areas of carts coming to and from. The thing that's really fucked up about this that takes all you guys a little bit back is instead of oxen, cows, or horses pulling carts, you see very large lumbering dinosaurs. As they're going, and they let out these very low guttural bellows. And they're taking cargo in much larger amounts than what you would see normal horse and the like. And you see the head of a large brontosaurus over the wall over there. Yeah, peek up, and he's looking over at you guys, and he goes back into chewing on the side of a tree. Sorry if that's loud.
No, you need to be louder.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's
And so you find that Zindar has a very imposing personal presence. He has a very good air of command about him.
That's the golden dragon.
The golden dragon guy. And there's clerks just sprinting about the office, it seems like. And you'll see young boys just waiting by that security looking door. And one of the clerks will hand out a set of paperwork, and he instantly sprints out. And he's sliding under carts, jumping over, rolling over dinosaurs, going down, and you see him running up to captains and stuff like that, and the captain's a sign, and then he comes sprinting back up, and these kids are just doing these relay races, what seems like all day long. As you look back out behind you, you see an open sea. There are rocks that have been piled up here, so you think that this is a man-made causeway that goes out to an island. Very small one to the south where there's a large lighthouse and a flame that is burning up in there. It's the middle of the day, and so you still see the light up there that is burning. And they can put, you see as what looks like fog that or storm clouds out to sea to your east. You can see a kid comes running past you, and as you're kind of stopped, he just sees you as obstacles to run in between really quickly, and he's carrying 2 bags of powders. And you see him run over to the lighthouse, and he sprints up, and you can see 2 older-looking gentlemen at this, and it's probably 50 feet up this lighthouse, and they grab some of the powders and throw it into the flame, and a huge green plume bursts out.
Green flame!
Out to the side, and it continues burning green and then goes back to a normal flame color and scoots down, and then another handful of powders hit and the green flame comes back out again. And so you think there may be some kind of color coding to what goes on here. The dinosaurs are something that is quite odd, not something you're used to. As you look in towards that other causeway, if you were to go a little bit past it, you don't need to scroll down. You see a statue that's at the center of the harbor, and it represents what you assume to be either like a champion or a king that is in a tribal-looking regalia that you haven't seen before. He's got a loincloth with some type of animal skin, a headdress that's full of feathers and shells, and teeth that you could assume would only be maybe from a dragon. And he's got a cape that looks like it has almost like a primate's fur hanging from it, and there's different types of tails coming at it. He's got an oval shield and like a type of spear sword looking thing in his hand, and he is seen holding the spear skyward, and he's looking up, and it seems like the entire harbor here is built around that.
That's this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There in the center.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a champion.
Turn the water down a little, sure.
So what would you guys like to do?
Well, Zero, where are we? Grab some water.
Yes, welcome to Port Nyanzaru. I am going to have to make my way to a friend's place. He's one of the merchant princes here, and oh Lord, very tired.
And her eyes roll into the back of her head, and Rotu sprints up, and you're amazed for a elven woman falling that this halfling is able to just absorb and
You mean
hold.
the dragon catching the dragon? Yeah.
It's not what everybody else sees.
Yeah.
And so he's able to grab and hold on to her and kind of steadies her and starts fanning her. It is oppressively hot. If you are wearing heavy armor, you feel like you would very quickly go into exhaustion. It is hot, it is sticky, and
The bottle of wine that Bronson's holding that he had when we teleported, he goes, oh, and drops and goes for a water skin and pours it down his neck. I will deplete a water skin.
okay.
Little two, what are we to do? Like, what are we doing?
Well,
Yeah.
I know that Zira is not off to talk about it, but in some of her previous combats, she was actually she was slayed, and we were able to revive her and bring her back. That's what we think this might be affecting, is those that have passed on and been brought back. Perhaps that's what they're running into right now.
But all the humans we saw in Daggerford with the sickness, is that something different? There's no way that many people have been resurrected.
With the dragon cult, there were quite a few experimentations that were done on folk as Tiamat was trying to create her army to come back.
Bronson's gonna go over and get one of her arms under his shoulders too and go, talk as we walk, lad. She's not looking so hot. Tell us more. Let's head that way.
Good idea, man.
So, we're going to go to one of the merchant prince's houses. A gentleman by the name of Wakongo Tamu.
Congo Tamu?
Wakongo to
Wakanga
Wakanga.
Otamu.
A
Oh,
Tamu.
Jesus.
And he will give her rest. You are welcome to join us and meet Wakanga, or I might recommend that perhaps you would look at the Thundering Lizard if you are looking for a raucous time, or Kaya's House of Repose if you'd like a good night's sleep to rest while we get Zira in bed and try to get her stabilized. Well, what would you like to do? We can either send for you, or you're more than welcome to come with us.
Alright, lad, we ought to help you get her to where she's going.
And then we need to know what again. Like, I don't know to start looking for a piss cunt demon god baby. So.
Alright, lass, I haven't the slightest either. We gotta get the lady here to where she's going, and then we can talk about our next steps.
So you guys travel west.
And the camera pans out as our party's making their way through the streets.
You guys travel west, and you are like looking around. You're seeing these huge fucking, creatures that look somewhat like dinosaurs, or somewhat like dragons, which you've seen before, but they're different. They don't have as bright as scales. They seem to have almost like a camouflage pattern to them. As they go through and are doing different types of labor for everyone. You get to the west side of town and you come across a pretty nice looking house that is fenced off from the area around it. Ruto knocks on the front gate, and you see some armed guards poke their heads around, and they have an exchange back and forth. He opens up the main gateway to come in, and Ruto goes sprinting in and comes back outside as you guys are rounding the corner dragging her, and you see this individual poke his head around, Wakanga Otamu. He has different types of beads that go through his braided beard. He has a very splendid silk headdress that his hair is wrapped up in. Not quite as nicely appointed as the statue in the bay. However, he looks to have some serious station here.
Cool.
So he greets you. No fighters. Welcome to the island of Chult. I welcome you here. How many nights have you been sailing to come here? And you bring Zira, and we are thankful. How many nights have you been on the sea?
Nice to meet you, my lord, sir. I'm not sure what the nomenclature is here.
Please, you would do well with Lord to the other ones, but my name is Wakanga. If you are a friend to Ruto and a friend to Zero, you are a friend to me.
It was quite the trip that we took here, I dare say. And it's rather warm. But our first concern is to get the lady here to a place of comfort.
Yes, certainly.
She is not well.
And he raises two hands and claps, and two, well-toned individuals in loincloths sprint out. They look kind of like Dave, but they're attractive.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I didn't mean
I was talking about him.
So they grab her and they take her in. She's laying on a four-poster bed, and very gently put down silk sheets.
Does Sugar Ray play on the wind? No.
I just want to fly.
What you want?
Amber is the color of the wind.
No, way worse. Way worse.
311?
Yeah, that's way worse.
Alright, so you guys, you can go ahead and exit out of that. Dave?
Oh, I have to exit.
And so, you can tell Jotun that he has some magical capabilities, and is one that you would expect to have quite a bit of knowledge of the arcane. You see him not really interface with the physical environment at all as he's walking through the house. You see him just kind of move his hands and doors open.
Oh.
As you guys come in and a little bit of mud falls off your feet, you see him kind of do another hand gesture and mutter something, and a broom comes over and starts sweeping the floor behind you guys and cleaning, and so this entire house is pristine. And it seems
whispers.
He's one of them there Disney Muppets. I heard tale of these brooms that sweep their own houses and things of that nature, and men who can move things with their minds. Call them psychopaths.
I'm very sure that there's an inn in town called Anastasia.
Anastasia.
Boy, my buddy Mickey used to talk about that place all the time.
Oh my god.
Might I offer you refreshments?
Oh yes, that sounds right. Yeah.
And so,
And Bronson's still dripping from the water he poured down his.
Yeah, and I'm just dripping sweat.
Yeah.
Is there a place where I
Wine
can get
on your
comfortable?
Yeah. Wine in a can.
Yes, certainly.
Get a
We
little bit
will
of
appoint you with some resplendent garments. Do you prefer more
I've got
comfort or function?
I've got clothes. I just need a place to get, to doff my armor.
Yes. And you feel the presence of something kind of nudge up against you, and you see the
Bronson, so you roll.
outline of a something you can't really quite see, but a little bit of a shimmer in the outline of a human. Please,
That was his axe. Yes.
please follow. And he gestures, and this servant kind of starts floating forward.
Unseen servant.
Yeah. Follow, of course.
Okay. So you go around the corner, you guys hear a door shut. Probably 15 minutes goes by, she comes back. You're changed into silks.
I was gonna say when she comes back, wearing like purple and orange zigzagged colored silk, and like hanging out and drinking like some sort of fruity beverage with a
Umbrella
coming
coming
out of a coconut that's in a pineapple. Coconut bottom, pineapple top, and then 4 umbrellas and a curly cute straw coming out of it.
But
I like how they do things around here. Oh yeah.
she comes back, and is her armor's almost floating behind her, and you can see multiple cloths with oil that are
Whoa.
constantly applying CLP to it so that it doesn't rust out. And he
Is
says,
this a little
please,
little green bottle.
Yeah.
It's grown it. Okay.
please have a seat here, and we can talk.
Okay, we'll sit down.
Quite right.
So he lays down, snaps his fingers, and platters of dates and figs
Oh yeah.
are brought through and are offered to you. You have different types of liquids that are there. Some smell alcoholic, others seem to be some type of fruit juice. You're offered both with no pressure to imbibe one way or the other.
Is there any milk?
No.
Dinosaur
Sweet milk.
milk. The blue dinosaur milk.
Dinosaurs aren't mammals.
Shows what you know.
Cool. Should we?
Is it a good place to
No,
hit pause?
keep going.
Forcing us to play.
I know. I thought we were gonna stop right as like she teleported us.
Oh, if you guys want to stop, we'll stop. Good.
I think we stopped there.
Yeah,
It's good. Good to.
Let's turn this quest in though. We can turn it in.
They can both go in there.
We
They're
can-
done.
Dun,
It's-
dun,
there's no
dun.
loot.
Wait, hold on. What?
Hold on. Let me play the victory song.
Boom, boom, boom.
That's for one of them. And after the other.
But then also, as the camera pans out, and it
you,
zooms.
you fucking idiot! I already saw it.
Did you see it? Oh, is it not working? What's going on here?
Jurassic Park. Oh, man.
You ruined it.
Sorry.
Yeah, it wouldn't work anyway. What is the problem there? That's a shame. Oh well, yeah.
Holy fucking shit.
It's a dinosaur. Oh my god.
Awesome.
What do we get for turning those in?
My thanks for giving those back.
Oh, I thought we got like.
satisfaction.
No, so thank you for the opening of the
call it the adventure in the jungle.
Rumble in the jungle.
Thank you guys very much. We will be back next week. And we'll very quickly be able to... see, this puts us in an awkward spot because I wanted to get like one little step forward so that it would give Alec a little bit of ideas of what he was going to play, but we can fuck it. We'll
Still pretty open-ended where we're at, though.
Yeah, I mean,
we just met him and sat down and turned her over.
Yeah, we bring a loot to a lady, find out she's a dragon. She teleports us to her lair with all of her decorations, which are clearly like magical arms and armor and gold and shit.
High in the mountains.
She says that there's a demon god piss cunt baby sucking power out of dragons across the world. Oh, and would you guys help me? We teleport again to the other side of the world into the jungle. I feel like it's pretty open-ended. It can go a lot of ways.
It's quite adventurous.
I feel like I really railroaded you guys into coming to Jurassic Park.
It's alright.
That's right.
But hold on to your butts.
So good.
Alright, that it? Signing off.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Hold on, here we go.
Wait. You're supposed to take your glasses off. And then stand up out of the cart. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Here we go. Now.
He's got the bar to
Turn this down.
Try to use that for a second.
We have got it playing on every device possible.
Hold on to your butt.
Yeah. Alright. See you guys.
Yeah, toodles.